Into a pretty red day here. I had to go and open my mouth this morning and say it was going to be a positive week, didn't I? It was green at the time. We're not any longer. Here is a couple of reasons why. Bitcoin, I'll get to in a second here. This is the dollar. 2 days in a row here. Big move back upside for the DXY, 103.5 coming back into play. Yields along with that also back to the upside across the board. We had Michigan sentiment come out this morning, was basically in line with expectation, but at this point that's probably a bit of a negative in the sense that 5-year, 1-year expectations for inflation in that number exactly where they were expecting it to be, so still higher than expected, around 3%. I'll show you here coming up. But the CDLX, huge mover today after earnings yesterday after the close. They came out and said Q3 revenue was going to be higher than expected for not only Q3, but the remainder of the year as well. So 1365.75 coming into play there at the top. 65% for CDLX. Overall, yeah, the market downside 1%. Trying to bounce right now, though. 433, bit of a support area for the Qs. Yeah, pretty red board. AMD, Nvidia doing their best to keep this thing afloat, but not winning right now. A lot of red up here. Meta, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, Adobe. I mean, CRM, Netflix, the whole board outside of Nvidia and AMD downside. Netflix 2%, or Amazon, I should say, 2% to the downside, 2.25. Costco under a little bit of pressure there as well. There is a few green bank names today, more on the red side though. So for the most part, pretty widespread selling to end off the day. Not everything though. AMD looking pretty good here, trying to get back to highs at 194 currently. Yeah, this was that Michigan sentiment number, if you missed it, at 10 o'clock. Comes out basically in line with expectations, as I mentioned, right across the board. 76.5 versus 76.9. So the overall index number was downside ever so slightly, but this 5-year inflation, 2.9%, expected 2.9%. 1-year inflation comes out 3%, expected 3%. So this inflation not budging theme continues even with the Michigan number today. So we get CPI this week, we get PPI this week, we get Michigan sentiment, all indicating that there's just no relief as of the 3% area for inflation. Let's talk about a few things we were discussing if you're with us. First thing this morning, we touched on Apple and Microsoft to kick things off. I mean, there's a couple of AI stories. The Darwin AI angle for Apple, Microsoft, and OpenAI. Sam Altman seemingly successful in his trip to Dubai in the Middle East, raising some capital for OpenAI, although there wasn't a number attached to that, guys, for Microsoft and Apple.
Yes, sir. I mean, he's not going to get $7 trillion, but, you know.
Not going to get a number that has a T in it.
Look, we were saying this before. It's like, I'm pretty sure he walked back that number like days after that was getting reported anyways. But anyways, it doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, he's going to be able to raise something. And we talk about AI being a catalyst over and over again. Both of those names, Microsoft and Apple, and probably more so Microsoft, I'd say, didn't have a good day today. You know, Microsoft pulled back from 428 down to about a low of 412. Apple, that was one I liked for a long. Apple's only down 1%, Microsoft down a couple points, today. So Apple's not having a great day, but as I said, Microsoft a little bit worse. Apple ends up bouncing off the 170 level, but I liked 172 today. And at the end of the day, this one came in, and it was right when the imbalances were hitting, and it's a witching day. When that happens, you can expect a little extra volatility. Got an early long, took a hit, got back in after, and was actually pretty flat. Like, scalp trades in there, then tight stops, scalp trades. I had this crazy wick, that kind of sucks. But the real lesson was, when the market was falling on a witching day, going into the open, when you can expect extra volatility, didn't need to be taking fills at that particular time. If you really just waited it out, it would have been fine. That said, kept it in the pocket, tried to limit the losses today relative to the wins. That's all you can ever do. But was looking for a dip buy in Apple. I just walked away from it. There's plenty of other opportunities out there that were good longs and plenty of opportunities that were some good shorts. I like the thesis for a long. It just didn't work out today on Apple, but you live to fight another day. I still think it's pretty good off of that 160, those October lows, but those could get tested again the way this week's going to end.
I said to Sharif, he and I should switch roles because we made a lot of money here in the midday, and we weren't even really here that much. We just shorted Apple. So again, you know, Neil getting away from it, I think that's a smart move. We did the opposite of that. We flipped the script because we were thinking so long, then we flipped over to all shorts, and then now you can see dividend paid here at 171.50, covering at 170.60. So a couple dollar club members right there as we hold a little bit as it goes back up, and by a little bit I mean we have that 10% left. So Apple, a great trade today, to be honest with you. But right here, I mean, it wasn't good on the morning, and we actually have that walk, talk, and stock that we posted up right here. You guys can go find it out. We talked all about that. So thanks for the 1,000 views, probably going to be up on Instagram. But we went long. We'll talk about Nvidia never. But we'll talk about it now. We just went long on Nvidia. We're $5 in the money right now. Double the, you know, in again, reloaded again. So that was take there for about $3 or $4. Take there, take there, take there. So we've made about net about $5 so far on this, and plus we're $5 in the money. I'm debating taking this out at $8.94. But what if the market goes the rest of the day? So I don't know. I'm kind of torn here what to do with the rest of this Nvidia trade. Potentially we get out and then regroup it, but we've been doing pretty good here. Let's just hold on and see what happens to Nvidia. It may come back in here. Look at the market trying to fade out.
All right, there's the tax note here for Tesla this morning over in India. Some subsidies and, I guess, a move down in tax rates overall in India coming through for some manufacturing input and some manufacturing investment going into that country from the company. I mean, they've been talking about this for a long, long time. Whether or not it will actually materialize still remains to be seen, but this is a good step, I think.
And they're not the only company, Brandon. You hear a lot about Apple talking about wanting to get into the Indian market as well. A couple of reasons for that. One, you know, obviously it's a huge market. Number two, there's a lot of technical skill there. But with respect to Tesla, they're going to have to invest about $500 million, about $500 million here in order to get this new tax regime. 15% will be the tax on the cars there. Typically with India, there is either a levy of 70% or 100%, Brendo, on cars above 35,000 or electric vehicles in general. So that's going to be huge savings.
We were talking the other day, you saw that chart there, we were talking the other day about the two worst stocks in the S&P so far this year, Boeing and Tesla. Here's the chart that depicts just that. This is going back to, what is this, end of May, beginning of June last year. Should have just bought the market. You would have been better off, both the S&P and the NASDAQ at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you bought Tesla, you're better off pretty much buying anything else. We actually had, yeah, we had a tweet out this morning. If you want to come have a look, and actually, I forgot to check what everybody else voted for right here, but here it is right now. Some interesting names on the worst of the year list. If you had to buy one, which one would it be? So here's the list here. So worst performing S&P 500 stocks of the year. So this is it right here, right? You're going to see Tesla. These are the worst performing S&P 500 stocks, okay? So don't at me and say like Fisker. Tesla, I didn't make this anyways. With Belay made it, whoever that is. And then thanks to Adara who sent it to me. But anyways, Humana, Paramount, Warner Brothers, they're all right here. There's Intel at the bottom, down 15% for the year. That's tough. But as you go, Enphase, Archer Daniels just been hit recently. But at the top of the pile, man, is, of course, the beleaguered Tesla. And the thing is that it started at, you know, like many of these names, of course, started at such highs. Go Nvidia, right now $6 in the money right now on NVDA. But Tesla, no, we don't have any trades on it today. I wish we had looked at that short early, I think, right off the jump. But was that true? Didn't it go up straight up or did it go straight down? Hold on a second. Yeah, so there it is. So there's the initial move that we had talked about up to 165. And then, you know, you could draw a little line here. If you break this 163, I think there might be a problem. But for right now, yeah, I like Tesla. I feel like that 160 could be a bottom. I didn't add to it. We're going to wait. We didn't even get Adobe today. We're going to give that a couple days to settle as well. And thanks to Nimit, who messaged me and said, how the hell did I call a 1.5% move down in the NASDAQ? And, you know, sun shines on a dog's ass every couple times a day, twice a day.
Twice a day.
I said that to Chris Bretcher the other day because he said something about how he was finally right on.
What's the movie that's from again?
I don't know. But he was right on Costco going down. And so he was like, oh, I'm finally right on something. But I don't know. I'm still working about this Nvidia trade. But anyways, Tesla, I like to short up there at 165, but I actually like the long better at 160.
Yeah, it came really close to that 160. It's a double bottom at 160. I still think this is somewhat headed towards the 150 level, so I'm not changing that tone. the trend is the trend, and the trend line has been respected both top and bottom on Tesla for the last year. So trend down means it is a short. I did trade Fisker today. Well, obviously you can see I'm in Fisker. As Fisker is hit enter twice, it's actually up 10%, Fisker, believe it or not. So the embattled EV name, there was some rumors that somebody might come in. They might have a partnership and get investment from another large firm, whether that's still Nissan or somebody new. There was no comment on that. It was gapped up, just took the short on the way back down. Let's go to a 3-minute. So it's short sell restricted because yesterday it was down more than 10%. So when I missed the breakdown here, all you could do was sit on the offer as it came back up and then try to get it on the way back down at 18. I did have one reload at 17.3. That's what I'm in right now, giving it to this top, and now it's starting to go sideways. So I think Fisker's turning into maybe a poor man's version of what Bed Bath & Beyond was near the end, where you might just start to go into a short the pops mode patiently until it doesn't work. And that was a pretty good trade if you were trading Bed Bath & Beyond near the end. Fisker feels like it's in that same mode, so we'll probably be doing that on a daily basis.
All right, let's talk Micron. It was by far the strongest in the pre-market as far as semiconductors were concerned. Not the case now. I mean, still 2.5%. Pretty good day here coming off the back of not one but two. Positive notes here this morning from analysts on MU.
Yeah, and Citi given a street high price target of $150 there, Brendo. Here's the reason. They say they expect the company to post upside consensus and increase guidance for all of 2024 for strong DRAM pricing, and that's going to be included in Nvidia's GPUs. They like that. TD Cowen also, Krish Sankar maintaining Micron with an outperform and also raising the price target to $120.
Not a bad day here, guys, for Micron today.
No, we had Micron, and we actually nailed Micron. Micron is going to be, Nvidia is going to be my #1 stock. If this breaks back down below, too much below this 889, we're going to get out of that. So 890, we're going to put a stop on this one to make sure we capture the profit. Look, in what was, and again, it's really bad because I do sound like a broken record, which is why we sort of put this up here. But again, we do the show for education purposes to try to help out people, and we are a completely free show with the information that we're giving out. So right here, look at this. Micron, we talked about wanting to get the 95 break long if that was there, or look to see if we can get any dip buys, right? So again, right off the jump, we got filled on this stock, and it was one of those days, man. We talked about the imbalances hitting. So we got, yeah, that's Micron, right. So we got filled here at 93. But then because it was imbalances, we kind of moved. We saw that there was a bunch of sell imbalances. So basically we moved to 92 once we saw these wicks. Because this was 92.30. So it's like when we're buying these 93s, 92.50, then it's going up and we're taking profit over and over again. We don't have any losing trades here. But then it gave us this bottom. So when it came back in, we just longed this bottom and used 92 as that spot, which gave us all the love right back, and it's just pretty bad. And again, I can't, we're in the Nvidia long, so it's fine for now. But like there's 95. So we basically got 92 long. We got out when it broke the 50-period moving average here for $1.50. So it's fine. But at the end of the day, we did miss that whole move up. So Micron going to be a top stock here today. Needless to say, we stick with our plan. And once again, it works.
Yeah, I mean, I stuck to my plan on Micron, and that ended me up going over to Intel and Nvidia instead. Because as far as I was concerned, like I liked a 95 break on Micron. That's what I had in my note. And then you had 93 for support level, which is resistance into support. So those are two setups. Now, the first one that I liked better was a break at 95, which clearly didn't happen. And I always say this. The good thing about breakout trading as a trading strategy is it's really easy to not take it. Like you're not forcing a breakout trade because if it doesn't break through the price, you should never be in the trade, which makes it really easy to decide whether to get in. That said, the 93, at the open, everything was plunging. To me, there was no, I'm not getting in when we're flushing at the open. At that time, Apple was tanking too, so why take that fill? And then it came back above, was trying to put in a higher low at the 93 level. But then I stopped it out when it couldn't hold the higher low. It getting down to 92 didn't fit the plan. And then it just never, it would have set up for me later, but by that time, I'd moved on to the other chip names. For myself, that was Nvidia, shorting the pop into resistance, at 75 down into 68 for $6, and then taking the breakout for $3, and then taking the 890 break as well into 895. So I went over to like scalp trading Nvidia because that was setting levels up a little bit more cleanly. And then the last one, which we're still in, some Intel. Intel was a tale of two cities, not the movie. I just feel like I wanted to say that. But it was a tale of two trades. Different setups require different trades. Like I can like the short in Intel in a general sense, and I can want it short off a resistance, and I can also like the short if it's breaking down off of a double bottom. That said, if I'm trying to blend that into one trade, then if it takes out the top here, I'm just ruining my entire day for no reason. So when it worked that bottom, I was in the short, and I stopped it out when it couldn't hold beneath that pre-market low. Then I wait for it to get up to the top, and then start shorting that top at 43 into VWAP, reloading off of the high into VWAP, and then when it double taps that, getting back into VWAP. Now, I've moved the trail here because the market's looking like it's near the lows and Intel's holding above VWAP. So if it breaks 42.93, I think I have it at, then I just get out of that trade. But when we talk about risk management all the time, to me, that's what it's about. Like I can like the short in Intel, but it's like short it here for that play. If it doesn't work, then short it here for that play. And make sure that you separate those. Otherwise, you can get yourself in a bit of trouble. Oh, I got to move my trail on Mara because Mara is heading to the promised land. So this is 1920 on Mara. So I'm moving my trail in here to 1919, maybe 1918. As Mara, and believe it or not, we're going to talk crypto. I don't think I've been only shorting Mara for a bit. But today, Mara is ripping faces off, and Bitcoin ain't doing anything. So Mara is it's almost like a VWAP bounce play that I was initially short, but we can talk about it more. But I'm getting a trailing stop out. If it fails around here at 1950, I'm going to jam out of this one. And apparently, SOUN is moving again. Is it really? It is. It really is. Okay. Congrats to anyone in this stock. I left this one for dead. I thought this was failing a double bottom this morning. I'm like, oh, this is going to be gone. And it actually held, and now up $1.70.
All right, let's touch on Adobe trying to roll over once again here this afternoon. We ran into 492 there a couple of times and failed 14.25%. I wanted to highlight this as well. We got through 500 today, and I think there were some stops underneath $500 because that's a huge volume day for Adobe downside.
Yeah, it's really precipitating here. When I started looking at this, it was still down 10% in the pre-market, another 4.25 there, Brendo. But look, the earnings beat both the top and bottom line, despite the fact that net income got literally cut in half. They printed about $250 million last year on the quarter. This time, about $620 million profit, but it was really the guide, Brendo, that sent this reeling. The street was looking for $5.33 billion in revenue. They guided 5.25. So it was no go.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like much today, given the move that happened after the close yesterday, but still, $12, $13 range here on the day, guys, for Adobe.
Yeah. It's hard to tell, but like Adobe on one sort of attempted trade ended up like my second worst stock because I tried an SSR bounce on it, but the scaling's messed up because of this wick, which it wasn't there this morning, but it's come in there. There was this breakdown at the open of 500 when everything was flushing. And then it did a big wick on open all the way down to 490. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go long back through 500. And if it holds, great. So I got the long back through 500, and I don't think I was filled until, I got like 501 or something. And then it just immediately slammed back through 500. And I got out right quick and was like, okay, I'm not fighting any longs this morning because if you were sitting around trading anything that was tech in the morning, the name that's down 10% was not the one that I wanted to be trying to catch multiple longs on. I took the one shot at it and then moved on to something else. And probably a good thing too, because I think Adobe is probably a reasonable dip buy down here. I don't own it, but I'm asking myself why I wouldn't want it in the 480s. But if I stuck to that bias, if I was trading my own, I think this is what should happen after earnings, I probably would have longed it 10 more times today. But thankfully we got away from that one. I think they'll be fine. It's just. What's up?
They're apparently Sam Bankman-Fried, who's been on this show before, and there's clips of us talking to him and everything like that. Apparently, maybe getting 40 to 50 years. So we'll see how many of those he serves. Okay, so let's just wait to see here. All right, so Adobe, again, we talked about this yesterday, about what kind of play you would make on this kind of a name. Down 14%, its expected move was only 7%, so it does qualify for these plays. And I mean, when you're down a certain number, the play is, and we had Daniel Shea on, we talked about this over and over again. Those of you that know this is the play, is you just go short. You wait for levels to figure out any sort of a rip back to VWAP or something like that. The thing is, it's so aggressive early that's really hard to get, like 504 all the way down to 490. So that's like, $14 and then right back up. And then if you were sort of astute enough to catch that this was the top, then yeah, at 505, man. If you just held against that, then you were pretty golden. Adobe misses. 94% of their business is subscription model. The street should like that, but apparently they don't. They guide lower by $600 million, and they get whacked now down 14%, so about $30 billion on market cap. Seems a little bit overdone, but we've seen this situation before. So, yeah, I think you buy the dip, and I didn't buy anything because I'm going to wait, because I think the NASDAQ continues to go lower. We've been making these calls for a while, and now the NASDAQ's finally at 18,000. I mean, we've been talking about this push in the NASDAQ for a long time, raising capital on many different names. I haven't told you, we sold GE, we sold the bank names, we talked about that getting out of Goldman. Goldman's probably up today, but I'm just telling you, we're raising some capital here so we can buy some dips. So that's what we've been doing. We're out of Uber, we want to wait for that to come back in again. So I think Adobe's getting ready for that. If it's a name that I like and it's down into this area, I think it's a buy. So on Monday or Tuesday, we'll see what happens. We'll settle this thing down. We'll talk about this on the podcast tonight, but I like Adobe long term.
It was 2 days in a row here, or we were starting off at least 2 days in a row. Downside for Bitcoin, we tried to recover, basically back to yesterday's low at this point for BTC. Just checking Ethereum, basically doing the same thing today, 68,352, coming into play right now after being above 73 and holding for better part of, or at least earlier on this week. I was just looking at Coinbase here. There was a couple of notes this morning in this space. This was one of them. JP Morgan maintaining neutral on Coinbase, but raising their price target going to 150. So we have recovered more on the actual equities than on the underlying coins today, which is the first in a couple of days here.
Especially these miners too, Breno. You have the likes of Mara up 6.25, Riot's up 5.5, CleanSpark no different here, a cool 8%, but Hut 8, the laggard, they're up only 0.25%. If you're wondering why the miners are running up today, we found out Marathon Digital is going to buy another mining data center in Garden City, Texas, for the tune of $87.33 million. Not sure about the details about how much this company mines, but the market liking what they hear.
Just seeing a couple of, speaking of Bitcoin, just seeing a couple of headlines there on Sam Bankman-Fried. Haven't seen his name for a while. A few people talking about what he should get in his prison sentence. Remember, sentencing's coming up here in a couple of weeks for SBF. They're saying 40 to 50 years. And
he's changed his character a little bit. You should see how he looks now. There was a picture of him like with other inmates as well. Tough look, Brendo.
It's, just hearing, it's the 28th. Guys will get sentencing for SBF.
Yeah, that's seriously fascinating because, let's be honest, it's not a big deal. It's just, I don't know if you guys know, but he actually was on the show at one point, and I was thinking about.
I don't know the last time we mentioned.
I haven't had when were we going to get an update on him? And I'm not sure when the last time was that we'd even heard anything about him. And I've been looking forward to seeing what was going on with that. And mostly some of it's some morbid curiosity, some really good that we're able to get an update.
We shorted Apple.
On
just quick, Sam Bankman-Fried, yeah. So Brendan must not have heard me mention.
No. Everyone doesn't get the Brendan and Sharif at the desk are actually a good 25 feet away from us. And you can't always hear everything.
Yeah. That's all good. We just reshorted Apple there at 20, got some out at 8s, 10s and 8s there as it just dropped out for some reason. Another short there in Apple to go. So yeah, man, Mr. Bankman-Fried, you know what? We've just been contacted to do a second interview from jail. So we'll be doing that with Sam Bankman-Fried at some point. But there it is. Now, you talked about some of the coins starting to go. Solana's going, man. That's up 9%. So I say, what's up with that? Nice move there. That's really the only one. That and Avalanche, another name. But
Shiba.
You know, yeah, Shiba Inu down 8. Doge was down 8 or something before as well. There's Doge right down 7. So, you know, it's been a really good week for many of these names. Avalanche 32%, Solana 21%, but it's just today that some of these names are coming back in. Wow, there goes Apple, by the way. Nice move to the downside here for Apple. Can keep going. We just reloaded that short, by the way, as well. This is a little bit of a pain for me because we're long Nvidia here, $4 or $5 in the money. Meanwhile, I'm cheering the short in Apple. So there we go. We just got a good fill there. We just got an 04 fill downside there in Apple as well. So, yeah, look, Sam Bankman-Fried, I wish the best for him. And crypto's down today.
No, you don't.
No, well, you know, I wish the best for everybody.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, like he's like,
yeah, a lot of people lost a lot of money, so you get what you deserve, obviously. And then I was looking at IBIT down here at $38. We actually wrote down for the first time, I think, on the sticky note today, IBIT long 38, and it came in. It came in right off the open, but it only got to 38.40. So not enough to get me excited down there. As bye-bye Apple, hopefully that can go down, and then let's see if we can get going. The only person that can come fix this mic is not you, dude. So back away, bro. You're going to create a scene live on the show in a couple minutes. All right. So anyways, I'll fix the mic. But nice move for Alibaba, too. And nice move here for Nvidia, and I'll fix this mic.
Yeah, I was looking at IBIT too. It never set up. We liked IBIT for like a false break at the bottom, but when the market was tanking, it didn't do it. And anyone that watched the morning show or Mara the last like few days and weeks, we've been looking short on Mara for a while, and it's been giving you great opportunities to go short. I mean, just yesterday, Mara was a great short, and the resistance here at 1830 was again a great short. So what do you think I was doing today? Like, of course when it double taps this top, I'm going to short that level, looking for the pullback into VWAP. But I said it before, it's okay to be wrong, it's not okay to stay wrong. Like, that level immediately did not hold right after. So I got out, and then when I did not get the long support to resistance here, I realized I should be taking the long back into that level. If I think it's a huge level and it's trending and it's already shown me a bounce here, why would I not be going long in here? Was able to get a fill right in front of the 1850 and then some just in front of the 60s. It did this little consolidation at 19. I trailed some out there. Now I'm going to trail out at 1920, give it a chance to see wherever it wants to go here. So I'm not saying I was the most bullish person on Mara, but today, off the level I liked, it showed strength, so you go long. And we're going to hold it. My trail is underneath this, whatever you want to call it, like death fall at like 1920 that it did yesterday that you can't see because my head's in the way. There you go. Yeah, there it is. It did like right at the open, like flushed off the 1920 level. And if I show you even on the 15-minute chart, this was a support level that failed. That's why we liked the short there yesterday. And now we're trailing back into that level just to see how far Mara can go. Oh yeah, we're done. I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, we can head back to the desk in a quick little second. You guys know I'm in Fisker. I mentioned Intel. If it bounces one more time off of 4260, I probably just need to get out of it. I have not been looking to short it because it's relatively strong unless it were to get back up into the 43 range, and that's been a mistake. So I've been shorting the wrong end of the range. In the afternoon, the morning, these were the right prices, 43, 4305, 4306. But this afternoon, it's really been about 4285. And I didn't really make that adjustment. And when you look at it, kind of did the same thing yesterday, where the lower high was the way to go in the afternoon. But if it never breaks 42.6, probably not going to get that low of the day just yet. But you know what? It's been a good day. When I did the lesson of the day, I told you how yesterday went, so you can understand that it had nothing to do with momentum trading. Momentum trading, I didn't have a single losing stock, but I still had my worst day in a while because of one-off event that sort of happened that you can't relate to anything else. But all you can do is go back, go to the process, trust it, and then do essentially your plan of action every single day. The market doesn't care today what happened to you yesterday. Stocks are going to move as they're going to move. Speaking of stocks moving as they're going to move, this SOUN is now consolidating over $9. Forget about making a bottom and holding the bottom. This is now consolidating over the breakout price, which usually is a pretty good sign. So this $9 level is starting to look pretty juicy. for like a consolidation long. If it holds 9, break out the top, room to run. If it can't, easy out at $9.
Yeah, just on that note about like sticking with your plan and making sure that you guys just keep doing what you do, right? I mean, I think that that's a very important thing, and yeah, everyone want to thank Neil for sharing that yesterday. But I was just looking, so I think there's I think I saw about 17 or so accounts on the floor here, 7 positive for the month. So that's pretty good. So just want to let you guys know that, even here at Real Trading, which you guys can join a floor, that's not a bad number, right? Like 7 out of 19 or whatever it was, or 7 out of 17. I'll have to double check that. So, stick with your plan. It doesn't have to happen every month, but one month it will. So keep going. And if you are interested in Real Trading, make sure you join us ASAP. Not available in the United States, but 3 billion, 50 plus markets, although you wouldn't really know that if you looked at me and Neil, because we pretty much just trade the U.S. markets, but we do have markets available worldwide, including pretty much all of the European markets, which there's a lot of European offices as well. And then we do have Hong Kong and the Japanese equity markets and so on and so forth. So go over to Real Trading.
Beautiful Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah, that's pretty much every single, which would be the Madrid exchange. We pretty much have every single market. So go enjoy that, and let us know what your experiences are. And I know we have some traders in the chat that are also, part of the Real Trading program. So thank you so much for all of that and for all the love that continues to hit that company. Okay. Look, we just got another one right there. So we'll this one's a face slapper because it's like it's not doing anything. Wake up, Alibaba, right now. We've been shorting this name and it's been good. I mean, it's a positive name, but it's not doing anything. So I'm getting a little bit, let's go on something here with Alibaba. So we'll see if it makes a move back in. We just shorted there at view up at 80s. Our out was like 84, 85. Now we're getting these prints at 60 or so. So we just got a 67 fill right there. Hopefully it does fall in and we'll be able to take a little bit more on this. But honestly, we're getting some out of Apple. We just took that fill. We talked about getting those out down there. We did get an 3 or 4 fill. We're getting close to averaging in a little bit more in here into Apple. But the thing about this is we're $5 in the money right now on Nvidia. So if the market keeps running up, hopefully Nvidia goes dollars. And if we get slipped up on Apple, we're going to have a lot more shares on Apple because Apple's also needs a slap because it's not doing anything. We're going to try to fade Apple here against 171.50. So our whole loss on Apple today is this early trade, which we talked about. It's going to be up on Instagram. Maybe it is already. And it's up on Twitter, where we talked about this trade. The imbalances were sell side. We showed them to everybody. We knew they were going to come sell side. And then when they did at 925, they came sell side. We were able to get out of some. We punched out almost right away. But then we're like, oh, we like 171 and blah, blah, blah. But then when the market opened up, it really created some exciting action there for some of these names, and it didn't treat us that well off the jump. So then we started to go long again, and it kept on going down. So then we flipped a script on it, and the shorts have been printing until really just now. I mean, and we're not even in too many shares anymore. So all good on that front, but yeah, an exciting day in Apple land. And here goes Nvidia. Let's go, man. Let's make this name sing. If we can get back up through this high of the day, 900. Then when you get 900, then you're looking at 905. So, I'm playing these $5 increments. So let's get going. We just got to break this high right there of 95. That'll give us $10, and then we'll just go from there. Let's see if we can get a winner here to close the day on Nvidia. Well, we've taken about $6 so far because every single one of these is about $2. So that's a reload position there. So that's why you count it again. But it's really the same trade. We just have a third left. Let's see if we can get that $6 movement up there and then higher as we break through the high of the day on, hopefully, Neil, Nvidia.
Well, on a day where, if you're running in the money on a witching day, by the way, Jason in the chat, it's triple witching. There's no quad witching anymore. I know if you're an old head like we are, like there used to be quad witching, now it's just triple witching. But that, like, if you're in the money, sometimes you can let it ride. Because if an imbalance comes out in your favor at 350 and you're already in the money, like you want to give it that chance that something stupid happens in the last like 5 or 10 minutes. And then you might see that. I'm not saying we'll be in things that are running, but sometimes you want to let a little bit roll if you can. Someone said in the chat, Neil's ballsy to go long sun up here. I'm long at 911, and if it breaks a few cents underneath $9, I'm out. Like, it's just, if I was holding this over the weekend, do I think it's ballsy to hold this stock over a weekend, it wouldn't be my cup of tea. I don't do stuff like that. But if you're trading, it's about 15 to 20 cents worth of risk. And to the high of the day, it's about 20 cents to the high of the day. So I can take a leg out in front of the high of the day at 1-to-1, and then if it breaks out, maybe 950s, and we can see what happens after that. But it's a relatively tight stop, and that's the way I'm going to trade this afternoon as well. I just feel like that's the way to go. So you have to define what kind of trade you're making every single time. Like, is it a scalp trade? Is it a swing trade? And if you're swing trading, does it make sense that it's very risky to swing trade long this stock over a weekend? I would wager to say that the answer to that is yes, but it's a little bit different. I was also asked, is DWAC about to break down? I'm not sure the impetus for that question. It's very weak today, but it's literally not moving. It's done less than 1 million shares of volume. It's down 5%. That said, when I pull up the daily chart, this is worth a look if it ever breaks $37. That would be pretty, maybe even like the 38 level breaking down. And if that happens next week, I'd put that out there on the old, on the old list of things to watch out for, because when it's not doing anything and fails like a flat bottom break, I'm all for that. Whether it's what doesn't matter the kind of stock, it's just a setup that I like. But there's no volume on it today, so I'm not sure we'll be trading that. One of the reasons for SOUN, good relative volume. It's actually doing just as much volume on this recent breakout as it was doing this morning. You're not going to find that on most names, so that's why we like it.
Trying to find like a celebrate emoji to send to Dara. There we go. Okay, thank you. All right, so 892. We're still looking at the same stuff. Oh yeah, okay. So new positions, kind of, because we just averaged into at VWAP here for Apple into there. So a trade that we had looked at. I'm still trying to find, like, we have the scanners open for trade ideas and for all that. Trying to see if there's any sort of opportunity for us to come through here on the day. But in case we don't see anything, let us know in the chat. I know you guys want to look at SoundHound, and we can go back to that in a minute. I'm just waiting for Apple to do something, BABA and Nvidia. So those are those things. Let's check out Disney. We've traded Disney a lot in the last little while. Nice to see that it's up today in a red day. So that's obviously a positive, as we do own Disney. We own it in our swing account. We have been taking some out. This was another name that we talked about raising some capital, as many of you know, that we are in this name down in the 80s and 90s. So it's a nice move up. You get this nice bump up on earnings. Now you get Bob Iger just last week, which caused not this move. There was a move to 115 right there, which was real. This was not real. Up there to 115, where he mentioned them turning their direct-to-consumer net positive. Coming in, I think it was third or fourth quarter, but anyways, it was later this year, so it's not immediately. But the thing is, today also is the launch, and I don't know if this is true because Adara's been here all day, so she hasn't watched it numerous times yet. But there's the Taylor Swift thing that gets launched today.
Oh, that's
Disney.
today?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. So you're probably going to get a lot more views as soon as
I'll probably watch
the show is done.
5 or 6 times this weekend, maybe.
I definitely know I'll be watching it at least once, and I hope so. Anyways, if my daughter hasn't watched it yet.
It's probably number 2 on the list. Like, I'll check out the podcast first.
Yeah.
Then,
yeah, me too.
But then I'll
rewatch the podcast 10 times over, like I always do. Anyway.
But then Taylor Swift. Come on.
Come on. Obviously.
I'm not.
All right, so right here, Nvidia now trying to go. So here we go. We are trying to take out that high of the day again. So let's see if it goes, man. We are not, I repeat, we are not going to take too many shares here on Apple, because ultimately, if I were to put even like 500 shares here, something like that, on Apple, and then it goes up and breaks through this 50, well, then I'm going to give back $100. It's just like, that's it. If I think the market's going to rally, and I'm really holding out hope right now for a $7 winner in Nvidia, then I'm not going to spit this money away, or portions of it, whatever, because I have thought about Apple up here right now, and I can clearly see the market has broke the 50 period. But this is the thing why I like Apple short as opposed to Nvidia. Nvidia's kind of doing its own thing, right? Nvidia's at the high of the day. The market's nowhere near the high of the day. All right, Apple shorts have been paying me. If I think this is going to be a top, then I feel like we should get Apple short. So that's what we're doing, and so far so good, man. Nvidia's continuing its march higher, and look what Apple's doing. It's thinking about pulling back, at least not taking out its most recent high right there. So far so good. Will the market continue to cooperate? Nobody knows, unless, of course, I ask the one thing that does know, I haven't seen Westermeyer around.
Oh,
Maybe
I
he's
know.
on March break or something.
Well, that's sort of the thing. Like, until I see him again, I'm going to do the Bring Sally Up challenge, and then he said he'll give us a new tailored or personalized Magic 8 Ball if we do it. But I got to make sure he's actually here to see it. So we'll maybe do that next week. That said, I'm about to get an Amazon. I was in Amazon short, but then like right before, like right as we're coming back on at 2 o'clock, I would have gotten out. But it's this level in here. Support to resistance to resistance. I had it short twice, one good, one not. And if you go even further back, it's this support level. So it's 15.25. If it fails underneath there when the NASDAQ is at 18.1, which is pretty much where it's at right now, then I want to be looking short back, not into VWAP. Like if it breaks out this channel, I'm getting out, and maybe you'd short it again here at 176, because I want that'd be 2 separate trades for me. So if it fails a quarter, I'm going to go into the short in Amazon. Relative weakness, man. Like it's down 2%. It's not at the highs. I'm going to also move my trail in Mara because Mara has now made another press. So it bounced off of that 19.2 level we're showing on the 15-minute chart and has now made another step into the upside. So once it holds above 1950, I'm going to move the trail up again and just kind of let this one run. Mara up nicely despite the fact that only right now, I'm going to probably jinx this, only now is, this is IBIT, but only now is Bitcoin getting back to this morning's high. IBIT is within 5 cents of the top. If it breaks it out, I think there's some room to run, but I'm already in MAR, which is almost a buck in the money. We'll see what happens, but yeah, as we say it, IBIT just broke the high of the day. So
it's nice.
Most of crypto, because I saw Shibu, as you were saying, is
yeah,
not doing
buddy.
well. But almost everything else is doing well in crypto land. So congratulations if you have anything crypto that's not Shibu.
So we are only a couple 100 shares in on Apple right now, but we are 4 times the money on this Nvidia trade. So we don't discuss share size, but you can figure this out. Nice move up right here for Nvidia as it keeps going, man. $7. Let's see how far we go up now for Nvidia. This is exactly the move that we talked about. So there it is right now, man. Hit those sirens and let's go. We've done really well here in the afternoon. We've taken out some Alibaba again. So I'm getting ready for this to break. The only name, although Alibaba's been okay today on the upside, and we own these shares, so it would be really nice if it were to, get going a little bit. They had that story last week, or actually yesterday, about potentially some sour material or whatever on one of their websites.
Yeah,
there. So
that was,
we'll wait to hear about more of that as they investigate right now that claim. So we'll wait on that. That's the European Commission, I think. But good luck. Again, Alibaba, Chinese name. So
yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck getting any information on that one, hence why it's so important that TikTok gets divested. But we'll wait to hear that. All right, so we just got down into 36. What I was going to do here with Apple is we're short at 31. So obviously not a great position right here, but I am, favoring the long rather than the short. We are now $9 in the money here on Nvidia. Potentially thinking about getting this out at the day's high. All right, let's go back over to Brendo.
This part of the show brought to you by IG. Got opinions on central bankers, geopolitics, and economic data? Apply your macro views with a Forex account at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rates and offer $0 commission trading using a Forex account at IG. For a limited time, traders can open, fund, and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
So I saw Curtis in the chat said, Neil, you did this on SOUN the other day and lost on SOUN. Stay with it. I mean, what you're getting at, Palantir, give me a quick second here. Because Palantir just came into VWAP and there's a buyer of 200,000 shares on the bid. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Where is that? Why is that level 2 not on Palantir? So I just got Palantir at VWAP because I was sitting in order there, and someone just showed up on the bid. I just punched out. They showed up in the bid for 200,000 shares. What do they get? They actually just got filled, so maybe it's going to flush back down, but no, I don't need that. I just got 79s. I'll just get out at 81s and walk away from that trade because it's how it comes into the market as well. Like, I didn't want that fill in that manner. I thought we kind of go a little bit slower into there. SOUN, I'm going to follow every trader has to do their own thing. I'm going to follow my rules. Like, if it violates a stop and I see a re-entry, then I'll take the re-entry. but I don't want to hold it past, I'm not going to hold it past my level. Yeah, maybe it's still pretty good, but it can set back up and give me another trade off of this same trade area again. Like it could hold on to 910 again, give me a higher low to work off of, and then I can have a stop maybe at an 890. Like it can find my way into something else with a trend into the upside. But I'm not going to hold it. When it's this past above VWAP on a name like this in the afternoon, I'm just not going to hold it past that. You have to trade your own book. Like we always say this, like do you. I'm going to trade different from Sean, who's going to trade different from Brennan, who's going to trade different from Sharif, who's going to trade different from Max, and like all down the line there. I see that, Tesla.
People are liking Tesla.
Yeah, okay, this is one of the charts. I can zoom it in. That's a little bit better. Tesla bouncing nicely off VWAP into 164, which was a resistance. I had one trade on Tesla. It was a VWAP short. Remember when I talked about rules? I shorted it when it tagged VWAP and shorted it underneath. When it broke out, I get out. And then did it look weak again off VWAP? Not until much, much later. So, I get away from trades that aren't working. And that's the way to like limit loss, stay consistent, all that good stuff. But 164 looking kind of spicy here as we go to Adara again.
James River Holdings, JRVR, popping up here on very strong volume. Just a report here from Benzinga. Apparently, some sources circulating that Insurance Blog is reporting here that Global Indemnity has offered to buy the company, offered to buy JRVR for $15 a share. Currently trading below $9 a share, so a bit of a move up for that one. Just shy of 36 million share float, so pretty small company here. JRVR popping up, guys.
JRVR.
I don't know if that's anything to do with Apple or anything like that, but we'll spend a little bit of a money take right there on Apple because we just got 28s. So like we are just averaging in here. We just got our last average at 38. You can see that's our price right now. We just got a 28 fill plus another fill at VWAP. We're going to hold the rest, see if it falls down. I've switched my Nvidia target now, so unfortunately, this is what I do. And yeah, we are, we're here to put on bigger trades in this environment, as both of us have talked about that. But right here up to 895, that was just the top there. So we had seen that. We talked about possibly getting out. You go from top all the way down to the 50 period. If you don't hold this, then we're going to get out. So it does suck to give some back, but this is trading, and Nvidia will still be a very, very top name here at the end of this day. It'll be actually my #1 stock at the end of this trade, no matter what happens. So, well, I mean, it'd be really nice if it gets back up here and we can deal with that again. But if that does break below 890... 50, so about another $1.50 to the downside.
It's worth saying, can I just say one quick comment about NVIDIA?
Lots of comments.
NVIDIA is not necessarily the stock that is the most often traded, but in the last month and a half, I could pretty much with reasonable certainty tell you that most of the traders on the floor have had their best trade occur on NVIDIA. I can say that from my biggest trades have been on NVIDIA this last month and a half. Sean's biggest trades have been on NVIDIA this last month and a half. I'm 99% sure that's true of at least Max. And a few other ones out there. So again, it's not to say that everybody out there go and trade NVIDIA. However, right now, it is incredibly conducive to, if that's the right word. I'm not sure. I'm not Sharif. It's incredibly conducive
Thank God.
to fantastic and great momentum opportunities. And that's true of a lot of stocks, but I think in particular, that's one of those good ones. Like I used to say, we used to always crap on at our old trading floor. We'd crap on BAC because everyone would lose money when they traded that stock. I don't know why, but we'd make money on the banks, just not that one. Nvidia is kind of like the antithesis of that. SOUN, I might get back into this. I'm trying to be patient. I think it's making lower highs, so it could always give some kind of a pullback into the breakout price is 75 or into VWAP, so I still have my eyeballs on it. Amazon absolutely never set up, again, off of this level, but it is setting up somewhere else. In front of VWAP, which is like the 175.5, is starting to look a little bit good as the futures reject one more time. But it hasn't touched VWAP since 12, Curtis. No, just because the stock, look, okay, SOUN hasn't been at VWAP in a while, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be ready for a potential VWAP bounce play, even if it's not that high of a probability. I'm just saying that's one of the possibilities for buying the dip on SOUN. Just going to get my order in on Amazon. It could be the breakout price, 875. That would be a nice level for it to pull back into for a long. Or it could be VWAP. A stock like this, it absolutely could drop 50 cents in 10 minutes and be bouncing off of VWAP. We've seen SOUN do that before, so I'm not going to write that off as impossible. I mean, if it does bounce off VWAP, I'd hope to be able to grab it if it shows strength down there.
All right, so we just got broken out there on Nvidia, so we'll take that out there at 890.50 exactly. So good trade there, but you know what, man? We stink-faced it up, unfortunately, for everybody because we talked about what we were doing on Apple as well. So we'll net it out, to be honest with you. Obviously, we don't net it out. We put Nvidia on the board, and it was a great trade. But what we lost by not getting out up there, we made back here. So Apple just fell into the teens. We just got 30 cents on Apple there. And we told you that we were literally using many more shares on Apple than we had on Nvidia, right? So anyways, still sucks. Wish we would have got out higher. But hey, we just tweeted that out about we're at this level here. What should we do? And what we should have done was got out. But nice little drop down in there for Nvidia, but it's all good. I wish we could predict that future. And I asked the 8-ball, and I asked it if Apple was going to be higher or lower than its current spot. And this is when it was at 170, 135. And I said, will it be lower than its current spot? Because you have to ask it a yes or no question. It said, don't count on it. So yeah, we need a new 8-ball. This thing broken because it is going straight to the downside. And honestly, guys, that was a good trade. Right there on Apple. We told you we had switched up our opinion on this trade, and the short, boom, right there into VWAP. It doesn't get much better than that one. But all right, let's keep going on this for sure. All right, so let's have a crypto power hour. Yeah, we could do that. Crypto right now breaking through 70,000 potentially, 69 and change. We wrote down IBIT 38, but unfortunately that came 40 cents in, and we were looking at 67,000. Looks like we'll see a nice move here into the weekend. The last time we talked about crypto on a buy, we bought it down here, IBIT at 34 on this wick down. And then we also were able to recommend crypto on the podcast at 51,000 a couple weeks ago. So really nice move up to 69. And yeah, just keep watching these sing to the upside because I think crypto is going to have a move and a magnet. We talked about that with Brian Shannon on the show about Bitcoin possibly magneting up to 100, right? Like hitting those key levels again and just keep on going. So this is what it looks like, obviously, on a daily chart. Just touching 73 and change the last couple of days, making that huge move down overnight, and now trying to battle back here as we close the regular session here on the week. So looks like the NASDAQ will be red for the week as we're down I don't know, we're down 1%.
That's entirely Brennan's fault.
Yeah.
Brennan was, because we weren't even sure if it was true whether the NASDAQ was up on the week. I was like, I thought it was like slightly down, and then he sort of said it. I'm just joking about that, but it was kind of a jinx if you're into jinx. Just one thing, IBIT, when we talk about Bitcoin prices, right now that 70,000 level is effectively the $40 level on IBIT, more or less. So if it false breaks this top, my trail is like right here, no longer here. It's right there underneath 1960. If this prints 59 or anything lower than that, I'm getting out, because if this break fails, we have seen this story before on IBIT, failing breaks in either direction. When it happens, the reversals are, it's spectacular when it dips, but the opposite of spectacular when it wicks a high. We've seen that before. And that 40 level, the last time it did this is a 15-minute chart. In 3 candles, it was back at 38. And that was just, that was last Friday. That was a week ago today. It did the exact same move. Well, if it fails, so be careful buying tops up there, because the last time it was up here, it did a nasty, nasty reversal. So I'm probably trailing out if it gets under 60, and the higher it goes, I'm probably going to move my trail because I want to have it tight to this high of the day. There is now a big seller on SOUN at 910 for anyone following. 150,000 shares are on the offer of SOUN. Be careful with that one as well. Amazon, I did not get the fill back in as it's starting to fall back down. Amazon's having a bad day. But that's good if you're looking to catch it on the bid sometime soon.
All right, I have
which I am, by the way. Well, I should finish the thought and say that this is a stock that if it gets to the 50-period moving average, I would call myself relatively underweight, this one relative to other tech, which would be the fair way of saying it's one I want to buy on dips. And this is not sniffing the 50-period, it's just a bunch of dark pool wicks. It hasn't been down there since, literally the beginning of the year. That's January 5th, the last time it was touching the 50-period. That's like the second trading day of the year.
How did I not get longer down there? Yeah. All right. So we're back in another dollar right now. Spin it on Nvidia. We can make that dollar back that we lost by getting out there if we wanted to take this. We're long it right now at 891.51. I just was bidding 890.50 there. It looks like it only went down to 80s or so. This time, what about if we get back to 95? Do we take it or what? Let's see. So nice little move back upside for Nvidia. I just said that kind of tongue-in-cheek, I am going to take that. So 894.80 or so if it does get back up. Otherwise, watch out for a 50-period moving average. But if we can get going, we'll take it right there. And the reason why we're more confident in that one is because we did get that bounce. We got the bounce at that level. Realistically, I should have put it, I was just looking at this break right here and didn't want to give that up because you see some of these wicks. Like I feel like if we would have broke that level there of 890, then we could have got much more slippage than we got. Like we basically got no slippage. We said if we were going to get out at 890.50, so we got to fill there at 47 or 44 or something like that. So and then we're able to put that right back in. Like look where we're long now, 891.50. It just wicked up here 892.45 or so. So one more push up and you can get that dollar back. So we'll wait to see. And I'm not going to average back into Apple anymore. We got that nice push down. It just bounced off the 50-period moving average. So like Nvidia, they both bounced off and started to climb. So we'll just wait. If we get stopped out on 50 on this one, fine by me, man. We made back more than 50%, at least more. I'll have to look, but than what we lost right here. We were really stupid early, and we actually talked about that, and that's why it is on that walk and talk. So
70 thou broke.
Yeah, wow, good. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Bang that one out. I know you're in the Mara trade, so that's probably ripping. But yeah, can't stop, won't stop for Bitcoin and IBIT.
Buy the dips on.
I might just get out of some of that. I mean, I don't know. We've had a nice run up here in IBIT, man. I mean, you can tell it goes a lot more than this. $42. I mean, here we go again for crypto.
Kids say hodl.
Is that what the kids say? Yeah. All right, so you could hodl that one if you want to. I'm hodling everything else, including Cardano and Solana. So those are my two big ones right now. And then I've divested a lot out of Bitcoin because I'm in the ETF, so and more into altcoin season. So we'll see if that can keep going upside there for some of the alts.
All about the alts.
Oh, we are going to be talking about MSTR. I have some interesting stuff to talk about on the podcast there as
and
well.
Mr. Sailor.
Yeah. We're going on we're all going on the yacht. If Bitcoin gets to 100,000. No, I've never been on a yacht. I've been on some pretty nice boats, but not one like that, like a party yacht or anything.
I have an uncle that has a boat, but like it's in Antigua. Like it is a boat, but like it ain't no damn yacht. But I'm not a big boat person. We've had this conversation before. Like, if I go on a cruise, it's because my wife has talked me into it, not because I have any desire to do it. So I'm not even sure a yacht is. If I had sailor money, I don't think I'd want a yacht. I'd be like, try to send me to space one, or I get myself a crazy bunker.
Yeah.
Just in case the world ends. I think that's a prudent move, like anybody would. I just keep moving this trail, and I have my eyes on IBIT because I feel like if it does this thing that I was alluding to, where you have a big rejection of a breakout level, like if it does like one of those crazy wicks, I think I want it back through 40 with like a tight stop. Like maybe like if it hits like this is a big red candle, just take it back through the even with a really tight stop, and then see if it does a big pullback. But it has to show me weakness first. I wouldn't go on a boat with Obi to go fishing. Oh, fishing's very different from going on the ocean. If we were talking yachts and stuff, I mean like being on the ocean. Like, I'll go fishing in a lake. I have no problems with lakes. Lakes and I are cool. Beaches and I are cool. It's the ocean and being out in the middle of nowhere that it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. Well, if you go
to each their own.
Yeah. I mean, cruise ships are, you're with 1,000 people.
Well, why don't I just go to a resort then?
I don't know. Ocean's scary, yeah. We did short again a little bit of Apple there at 50 because it was literally at that level. So we'll wait to see if that does and react a little bit to the downside. I'm bidding early 40s, so if we can get like 10 cents and just sort of start to do some of this with Apple, we'll do that. And then not give this much room at all. Like we're short at 50, we're giving it 55. Like 5-6 cents worth of room, which sounds ridiculous. But in this moment right now, it is what it is. I mean, I'm just trying to scalp out here and just try to, have some good talk, get ready for the podcast. It's 3 o'clock. We'll see if the Power Hour does anything right now.
I think the kids call it the pod.
Yeah, they call it the pod and they call it hodling, right? So, all right. So we're going to wait to see if we get a dip down here into the 200 period for Nvidia. So we're going to average one more time. And then if we break this, the 200 period is not far away from where we are. Like when you zoom in, you're going to think it's far, but it's only 889. So that right here is $2 away. So we will take more shares.
See the thing there, though?
When it comes in.
Anyways, I'm
Here
just going
comes
to
Apple.
leave it on. Don't switch away from the chart for a second. When you're day trading and you have the ability to make multiple trades and not just take one trade, you can always get out. And if you still like the trend, you can just jump right back in. Nvidia moves $10 at a time or whatever that last move was.
No, I'm
talking bottom.
From the bottom. Yeah, but the thing is, you got to wait an hour.
No, I know, but like, okay, but it moves $9 at a time. So getting out and back in costs a difference of 50 cents, ballparking, but still looking at that. From your exit to getting back in is about 50 cents. But if it falls all the way back to the downside, it allows you to buy the bottom. And if it bounces from there, you can still have the move to the high of the day, and it costs you 50 cents to mitigate that risk and put another trade on. So when we talk about getting out of something, like getting out of SOUN and then waiting for the next move, that's the reason why. Speaking about getting back in, Amazon did set back up underneath 175. So it didn't get to VWAP, got close. It never got up there to VWAP or 176, but it did set back up at 175, so I re-shorted it, more or less off the same level. 74.80 has been a bit of a thing. And Mara just trailed out. Without IBIT getting underneath 40, Mara just trailed. I keep moving the stop up to the higher low. So we're out of that trade. We'll ring the register on Mara. I'm still, in a general sense, bearish on this stock. But let's be real. That's a big up day that held support. And technically, it never got to the 200 period. It never got to that $15 level. It didn't even get down to this higher low at 16 bucks before bouncing. But I think it's at that spot, either 20 or 21. Those are the two levels that it would look like a short to me, despite how strong it is today. So I'm just going to take it and run. And we're back in Amazon, so I find myself now only short, which is weird because the market has been up since noon and bouncing off 18,000, which I don't know if we mentioned this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, we've been looking at 18,000 for a minute here, so we'll have to wait to see what does hit. Is there anything else you guys want to look at? I mean, we're kind of just looking at the same thing here. Yeah, you know what? I guess MSTR is going to be taking off on this kind of a move. A highly levered instrument here is MSTR. If you're invested in Bitcoin, you should just be invested in MSTR if you're in for a swing trade, because it moves exactly with Bitcoin and moves much more than Bitcoin. So this is like a 3 times levered product here for BTC. So look at this continuing to go here. MSTR has not stopped. I mean, up $200 basically since 1 o'clock. So you want to talk about a name that really keeps going here. MicroStrategy off VWAP. Like, look how good that is. And again, you could just call up a Bitcoin chart and most likely see this exact same thing. So nice move here. Continuing to go higher here is MSTR into the close, 1800, and I believe what is an all-time high, right? So it looks like 1850, yeah. So
I think way back when, though.
No, I don't think so. Nice, just because of what's happening.
Well, unless it recently broke it.
I don't even think we're close, are we?
Oh, no, it's not. It's just, hold a second.
Weekly chart, I'll have it up here in a second. All right, so here's the monthly for MSTR, and like I was saying...
Yeah, it was 1.3.
Yeah, you're not even close. Yeah, this little wick up there. But there it is, man. The last real high of this was $800. So now you're up $1,000 from that and just continuing to go. So look at this, man. This is a monthly. This is a monthly right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't... Again, you know, this was back in 2000.
See, I don't...
That's a split.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know... Like those levels, I don't really.
No, this since it became Bitcoin.
Like I know, but there was that like nonsense before, but that had nothing to do with Bitcoin.
Dude, this was, we weren't even trading.
That's what I'm saying. It was better to say.
Yeah,
like, but I've seen that chart before, and I knew it had some ridiculous prices. But you should make the distinction that it is different. It's like when like a stock will take over a ticker or something. We've seen that before. Like a SPAC will take over a ticker, and it doesn't matter what happened 15 years ago. But
I wonder if that is what happened here, because I don't think it was MicroStrategy back there.
I think it's something like that.
All right, well, whatever.
Because you do see those. I did just get back into Amazon, but if it breaks past that 20 again, I'm going to jump out of it. Just want to make sure we limit risk in all phases. This Intel is right back at this top. So here, the only thing that makes sense is to either do nothing or get back in off of this high, which I'm going to like to say if the range is going to be 25 cents, then I'll join that range. I thought I was holding out for 43. That doesn't make any sense. Move stop to 92, short mid-80s, play to VWAP. That's the range you want to trade in. That's what we're going to do. Oh, it's past 3 o'clock. It's power hour. Remember, today's triple witchings was a bunch of like index rebalancing, all that stuff. The imbalances will be huge. And SMCI is being added to the S&P 500 next week. So it is actually, on some of the data, it's anticipated that there could be a buy imbalance today, despite the fact that it's not added till next week. On SMCI, it's flat right now, not really doing much, but if this comes out a few million, don't be surprised if you see some big numbers on a lot of names, but this one in particular is expected to have a big tag next to it.
It's too bad, man. We came literally 10 cents away from getting more NVIDIA. But all right, so this is what this looks like. It's pretty nasty right here. Look at BMY, 26 million to sell coming on Bristol Myers. So that name going to get crushed. Yuck. There must be a big imbalance or some sort of a rebalance there on BMY. New York Community Bank, 12 million shares. Like, you understand, like, the amount of shares this is? Bristol Myers has only done 9 million on the day. You're going to get a print at the end of the day that's going to be 30 million shares. Fisker, not doing anything today. What else do we want to look at? There isn't too many huge names on here. I mean, these are all millions. The number that Adara is going to give us is going to be like $9 billion. So it's going to be an absolute monster. Like, look at, these are all millions.
I'm going to say 6.8.
Greater than. I feel that, like, all of, look at this, 2.4, like, these are all already paired off. Like, there's so much.
The reason I'm saying that is because look at how many big buys there are, but a lot of
they're going to get paired off.
I know, but a lot of the big cap names are supposed to be sell imbalances. So my guess is, like, if that's early, mostly buys, but it doesn't have any of the big NASDAQ stocks, which are anticipated to be to the sell side. And then if you look at the big New York, like, a lot of big NASDAQ and New York stocks, bigger cap, are anticipated to be downweights because they've been so strong. But it doesn't really matter. It's all for fun and games. We don't know what'll happen.
No, we'll just bring it to you and.
Yeah, and if there's trades, there's trades. But I'll tell you this right now, and this kind of, not that everyone's probably preparing for the close, but this is something we say to traders all the time. Just because it's witching and you think there might be big moves, doesn't mean you force the action. If there is nothing there, you do not have to trade the last 10 minutes. I have seen traders be like, oh, this is going to be the biggest event because it's the end of the quarter, and then not big imbalances happen, and then you try to make things happen when they're not there. You don't want to do that in any case, but especially on a witching day. So the new position for me was just getting an Intel. We were already shorted up at the top, but now we're looking for this lower high here at 42.93. Ostentatious production. So you expect BTC to hit 100K by Monday.
Did we say that, or I don't?
I didn't. Did you say that? No, you didn't say that.
Did you say about to 100K?
100K by Monday?
Not this guy.
That'd be all right. But it's not going to happen.
No, Nvidia just took that bottom right now temporarily. We'll wait. So we'll give a little bit back there on Nvidia. We talked about that. If that was to happen, that's what we were going to do right now. But a little bit of a wick down here for Nvidia. Let's try it. The thing is, we don't want to be like just nailing into this because it's going down. Like, you know, the market's just now hitting the 50 period. We had talked that it was sort of in the middle here. So we'll just get out of Apple, into Nvidia again, and watch to see what happens here, as now it's starting to, that's the future, sorry. I really want to see this continue to get into here. Small piece right now against 886. Let's just see if it falls down. Right now, we know the risk to reward is here on Nvidia. We're comfortable holding it. We don't have a problem with it. Apple, what did Alibaba? Okay, Alibaba's not doing anything. Micron is okay, maybe back into 93 could be a trade, but again, we're not going to go long Micron and sit here and go short short Micron, but go long Nvidia. So here comes Nvidia right now against this level that we sort of liked a little bit better, which is why we're going long here. That's 885-ish. For Nvidia, but be careful, man. If you're still in this name, the market is bouncing. If we don't hold the 50 period, it'd be the first time that we've broken the 50 period in about the last half hour or so. So be careful with it and see what happens. Who's Nvidia into the close?
Who's that dude that was like, you should always stick to your plan? Getting out of sun was a good idea. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, that's right. It was me. Oops. But again, I reserve the right to make bottom wicks because it's better to do that than have it go all the way to VWAP. Or VWAP. Yeah, VWAP was how I guess you're supposed to say it, but it doesn't matter. It ends up being a good one, high or low, and it looks like it's going to break out after all, but it's going to break out without me. I had my consolidation, I had my stop, it ran my stop, I got out. And you got to be able to do that. If Intel runs this high, I'm getting out. If it plays into VWAP, I'm getting most of it out in front of this. VWAP's at 42.70, and maybe I'll hold a little bit for 42.60. That's the plan for everybody. That's the plan, Stan. That's the plan in general. That pullback in Bitcoin, by the way, kind of didn't happen. So the fail, I was looking for it to fail that top and IBIT get back underneath 40. It did the exact opposite. It put in the wick top and then held $40, which is essentially this holding 70,000. And I realized the reason it was the MSTR talk that probably had someone thinking, so it's going to 100,000. Now remember, MSTR is going to be more volatile than Bitcoin because like there is a hedge trade that people will go short MSTR and go long BTC. It's some kind of a hedge, and if you do something like that, well, you start getting a short float, and MSTRs is like 19%. And it's the same thing with MAR. Like MAR will have outsized moves relative to Bitcoin on both up and down. It doesn't only work in one way because it's got a decent short float. I forget off the top of my head. I think it's about 20% maybe.
MSTR?
No, MSTR is 19.
Well, MAR I think it was 22, was it? Or?
Yeah, you're right, 23. So Michael Jordan instead of Will Clark, MAR. And that's the reason you get outsized moves. So day traders like that. That's why Patty Ice, who's not sitting in his seat right now, that's why he traded Mara instead of something else, because you can get bigger percentage moves when it was working to the upside, which it clearly is not right now.
All right.
Well, I mean, it is today, but not on the daily chart I was showing.
For Mara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mara's up today, but it's literally down 7 out of the last 8 going in today.
Oh, it's been nasty. Ever since their earnings, they dropped that offering, and it's been pretty nasty as people get concerned about the halving happening there. I can't even remember what date that was. Okay, so we are long right now on we're long right now on Nvidia right here at 888. So here we go. You can see the price at the bottom. There it is, 888.02. So that's where we're long. We're gonna see if we can get something out up here. Maybe for $1 up near 889, and then if we can get that, then we'll hold the rest and see if we can climb after that into the close. But again, just trying to take it easy right now as we do have all those imbalances hitting. And as soon as we get that updated number from that, we'll hear from Adara. There it is right there. So we'll go, we got it back again. So fail on that first spot, but back in right now to Nvidia as it's starting to climb back up to the upside here one more time for us. So now we're in the money $1 and it's starting to go here up to 890. Do we just want to get a piece out at 890? Maybe that might be the better thing to do. And then we'll wait to see if we get it up a little bit higher, because we've been sitting here in this trade, not in this trade, but looking at Nvidia, seeing $5 winners, not taking them, taking hits. We already talked about that. So you got to take winners when they come, because you can't just wait there for something crazy to happen, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, it's a big, huge sell imbalance, and then boom, all that profit has disappeared. So, oh, my kid has a game when? Saturday at 4. Oh, great. Okay, tomorrow at 4. That's nice.
Which sport?
Hockey. Baseball starting up.
Oh, because no. Baseball is your tryouts.
Yeah, baseball. Yeah. We've already picked the team.
Well, not tryouts. You know what I mean.
Yeah, so the daughter has a hockey rep tryout for next year. That's tomorrow at 4 o'clock as well. So I'm gonna miss that. Unfortunately, I hate missing it. Okay, so here we go.
I have a good.
Yeah. Anyways, no, go ahead, because we're just waiting for 890 here on Nvidia. If it hits, it'll be about $1.50, and then we'll hold on to the rest for maybe a bigger trade.
The word from my in-laws this week is that the sap has been flowing up north. Last year was not a good year in maple syrup land. I married into my wife's parents have like a bunch of maple trees, not like a few, like dozens, and we get like a lifetime supply. But last year there wasn't a heck of a lot that came out of the trees. It was a bad season for it, so I think there's going to be some extra. Cross our fingers. But I love maple syrup. I put that ish in everything. This is what bullish looks like in MSTR and Bitcoin, everything else. This was looking like a double, triple top there on a 3-minute, and then almost like a reversal candle here, and the very next candle, wick bottom, right back up to the top. So when I say I got it tomorrow and might have picked the wrong time to get out, same move and right back up at these highs. So this is starting to get a little bit spicy. I'm still eyeballs on IBIT for a reversal trade. I'm just looking for a hammer with follow through, and the second I see that, I want to be going like short for a scalp trade. But I've just been staring at this thing, looking for the reversal, and it keeps on going up after I got out. Amazon's not doing anything. I got one leg on Intel, and then it came right back up into the top, trying to get 90s. or like 89s back in. I'll try to get some 89s. I have 85 to the south side. Jared, maple syrup even on your pineapple pizza? Absolutely not. I put maple syrup on a lot of things, but pineapple pizza is not real pizza, and I wouldn't put maple syrup on pizza. You got to draw the line somewhere. But I sweeten my coffee if I do with maple syrup. I put that on like oats if I'm having oats. I mean, it's so good, and it's very Canadian as well.
Yes, everybody loves some maple syrup.
Delicious, man.
So we just missed, this is the life of a trader, of course. We talked about where we were waiting at, and we missed that we were at 75. You know where it went to? 73, I think, was the high tick there. 63, something like that. So we missed a $2 winner by 4 pennies. But again, we talked about this with these wicks. It's 71. We were at 75. That's going to happen to you because a lot of the time the spread is huge. Look at the spread right now, right? So 40s, 60s, and 80s, 20 cents, 30 cents, opening up 40 cents right now. So you have to get lucky that when it breaks, you have to have the momentum screaming through you, or it's very hard to get filled. Like right here, look at this wick on this candle. So you have a top wick in 1 minute up here of 889.50, and then you have a bottom wick in that same minute of 887.50. So it's a $2 movement in 1 minute. And it's the same candle giving you those levels. So it's very hard to say, I wish I would have got that tick. So you have to get a little bit more, you're going to have to get a little bit more aggressive and wait maybe somewhere in the middle of your target. So I just want to give everybody a little bit of a hint there, because I'm going to wait now at 889.50 instead of 889.75, because that was the top. That's why we were waiting here, because it was right here. I just thought, okay, if we come back up here, let's just take that out. Instead, if we were just waiting at the 200 period, we would have got filled. And then now it's down to $1.30 from that level. So you have to bear with me a little bit here, because this is that kind of trading. It's very violent. And if you get stopped out, it's better to take the stop and deal with that, because you never know how far these things can go down. And that is Nvidia talk. I am still looking at SMCI to see if anything's going on with that one as well. So SMCI is right here.
I'm leaving that up on a level 2.
Yeah, we're going to wait to see how that's trading exactly, right? So a breakdown right now through this 886 level or whatever on Nvidia is probably going to call it quits. We've been buying this dip, but again, if it doesn't go back up, we just failed to get off the 200. Not a great sign. Probably looking to break back down into here, 886. Watch out for Nvidia. That's the bottom that we won't hold through. What's up, Adara?
Interesting look here for Cliveo. If you remember, this one did IPO in September, actually hit new all-time lows today. Now seeing a nice push to the upside on volume. Not seeing any particular news on this, but worth keeping an eye on KVYO picking up on volume as we head into the end of the week, guys.
But I think all the big cap tech is, because we're just sort of talking about the reason why on a day like today, like Apple and Nvidia and Microsoft are expected to be sell imbalances, because when you're re-weighting all the stuff that's been ham for the last year, or those quarters, and when you've been dragging the markets to the upside like an Nvidia has been, weighting is going in the other direction. They tend to be down weights. It can be counterintuitive that a stock which is already in an index, when it's strong, well, it usually ends up a down weight. But that's not until the imbalances don't come out until 350. That's a little bit later on. But if you see big, massive sell imbalances all over the place, just don't be surprised if it's in good stocks. That's really not the way that it's worked. You don't have the assumption that it's going to be a sell imbalance because it's Fisker and a buy imbalance because it's Nvidia. If it's going to be added to an index, obviously your expectation is that it will be a buy. But then was it Uber? I mean, Uber paired everything off, right? It was a big buy imbalance, and Uber was a big event, and it paired almost the whole thing off, right away. So it was a kind of a nothing burger that we all anticipated was going to be huge in Uber, and it was right to anticipate. And if it had been even bigger, probably would have had some good longs in it, but it didn't. So, we're kind of kept that one close to the vest. We'll be looking at SMCI for that reason today. Amazon's barely going anywhere right now. The market's starting to roll over.
Yeah.
If it breaks the next level down, I want 174.5. I just got some out in front of the 80 level. What just happened?
No, yeah, it just broke 887 there. I feel like you're probably going to be right with that talk there. Some of these names that have outperformed, although I'm still thinking it's early, but Yeah,
it is early. It's only 3:19.
Well, it'll get started, but here we go. Breaking down through 880, 886 right now. That is the stopping spot for us. Our average price is 887.15, but we do have some shares here, right? So if it breaks down, it's a losing trade. You can't just average in the whole way and then hold this thing. There it is. Okay, so I feel like we got a good stop there because it didn't break too much. We got 80s there. So that's a good stop. Happy with that. Was worried that it would have been more on that slip, but there's the move down. Maybe we should start thinking short, but I kind of want to wait for the long. I still think Nvidia is going to be a long into the close, but again, it's up today into a red market, so maybe if we sell off, we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, Nvidia, just a nice little downside push there. Look, we tried it there, it worked, and it hasn't worked in the last half hour buying these dips. So maybe it is just a short today. We can go over to AMD and try to short that name. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I forgot.
AMD's kind of strong today.
That was a good short there at 193, but it went up, 193.30. We actually got stopped out for flat there before it just tanked down $2. That sucked. We should have had that again up here at 194. Maybe this is a 194 short, but there goes Nvidia again. Just went down to 885 and now back up through 886. So this is starting to get a little... a little spicy here with Nvidia for sure.
Yeah, and to me, on a day like today, not a lot of traders on a witching day are going to be trying to overtrade going into the imbalances. Like you want to be specific, and then you want to hit something if it shows up in that last little bit when we get some numbers out there. If this was in the morning, like earlier in the day, like AMD looks like it's a break up or a breakdown, like a flat top break or a flat bottom break. But in the middle, like you got this $2 range, it's just whipping around. So I'm gonna stay patient. If I wasn't already until maybe I'd take a shot at it. But I don't really like what I see. Someone just told me in the chat that I didn't see who it was, but I did see SOUNs making a healthy dip. A healthy dip back in. That's somewhat healthy. Still back at that $9 level. The volume's really starting to drop off here. I mean, the focus is going to be on the bigger names for imbalances the closer you get to 330. I mean, Fisker is probably done for the day. The thing about the Fisker trade, and when we talked about this, if it's a short the pop, like Bed Bath & Beyond was, you need to get all of the money fills. Like either sit in a pre-market or get that money fill at the open. That was a good one. And I missed this one. Now look at it do nothing. And if anything, there's a buyer at 17. I'm actually short at 17.31 with a stop at the half. This is essentially flat if I get it out, but I am just going to get it out. This is nonsensical. You don't pay fees to remove liquidity. You also don't get a rebate if it's a penny stock. So there's no point sitting on the bid and trying to get an extra 1/10 of a cent or 100th of a cent. You can just punch out and pay almost no fees here at Real Trading. I'm just getting out. It's not moving. Don't want it to distract. We'll stick with Amazon and Intel. And if the market rolls over, great. If it doesn't, then we look to 350 for some possible end of the day imbalance trades.
You guys aren't going to believe me, but I tried to reverse this short. But right now you're bouncing off VWAP. This is why it's so important to get out. Right now you are bouncing off VWAP a little bit there on Nvidia down to 882. That might be worth a long at 883. We'll try it, but again, a break of 882 and we're gone on this one. I am thinking short though. On this name if it does come in. So let's wait to see if it does come back into the downside right now and break those levels. We just bounced off VWAP. We should have sat there and took that. Oh man, we were thinking about the short, and if it comes back up, what did we want to do with it? But it just bounced pretty nicely there, 82.70. Here it comes back in again. So we'll try. I don't mind trying a VWAP trade, although I am really thinking about what we just talked about there with potentially being a bigger sell imbalance than a buy imbalance on a lot of these names. Whoops. What did I just do there? Oh my God, we went long. See? I'm making keystroke errors all over the damn place right now. All right, so let's just put a bid down there at 883. We just got in and out of a trade there. That was a mistake. So 883 and change. Let's put a bid down there. We should have took that earlier. We did not. Then we'll put another bid down now near 882, like where that VWAP is. And then we'll take a fill there. And then if we break lower than 881.90 or so, then we'll get out of that one. So that's what we're going to do right now with Nvidia. We just missed that VWAP trade. It's just going to be pretty spicy into the close. And then now you only have 30 minutes.
Well, think about when these individual names start to actually get even bigger or change. Like if right now it's just a bunch of New York stocks that we're getting numbers on. At 350, you're going to get the NASDAQ stocks, and you might see some other names start to creep up and around here. Now, all of the, I guess the names that people probably care about the most from a trading aspect are going to be on the NASDAQ, and these early looks are only going to be on New York. That's why like you can look at big numbers here, but you're not going to see Apple, you're not going to see Amazon, you're not going to see Nvidia, you're not going to see Microsoft, you're not going to see Meta. The NASDAQ ones, we do have to wait till 350. But if there's like a New York name you're interested in, then you let us know. I just got another fill down at, like she got 78 here on Intel. I don't know if I want to even rinse and repeat this one back up at the top. I'll give it a few minutes. If it goes back up there before 340, then fair enough. It can be a scalp trade, but we are getting to that end of the day. It's witching hour. I suppose that's a thing. I don't know if that's actually a thing in trade. We call it witching hour. I know technically it is, but I've never actually heard people say that on the floor.
Yeah, you're right. We don't hear that often, but that is what it is.
It is what it is.
The hour before we get all the witching information.
IBIT.
So I like that witching hour talk there. 69.8 for Bitcoin as Neil talks about that. Real quick.
What the heck is this that I
okay. Yeah. Whoa. We're probably just going to, by the way, someone just said they just got that Apple fill, so congratulations on that one. If you took Apple back to the highs, that was a great trade to go long off of. Again, the 50 periods really held. That's why we got out of Apple. We talked about why we wanted to get out of Apple and get into Nvidia, and we'll put Nvidia in again. We're at 884, so we're now in the money now. And again, you know, there it goes. So we're in the money now, $1. Let's see if it goes back upside. If we can get the 200 period at 888, maybe we should just do that again, as we've been a little silly with some of our expectations here on Nvidia. So let's just put like an 887.50 or so opportunity for that one and see if we could take $3 or so on that. Right up into here would be pretty good. Maybe even a bit higher. Let's go to 888.50. Let's get real greedy here and go to 888.50 or so and see if we can get that fill. So there it is, man. We're long at 884. As you could see, and again, we talk about this. Here it is, $1.70, well, $1.50 anyways if you crossed, in the money right now on Nvidia. Let's see if it runs into the close. I don't know. We should have been longer earlier off that view up, so not super happy about that. Okay, here's a
just very quickly.
Kathy has a question.
I'm now out of Amazon. I got 20 cents on the first leg, and then it just stopped out for a 15-cent hit. It's not really moving. I don't see a reason to be fighting it. I can scalp trade something, and it'll be like Intel's giving you a more defined range, which is being respected. I just got a reload on that one at 89 back in. But I wanted to. There was a good question from Kathy, but also Zion. So look, Zion, if you missed the lesson of the day, I try to make every single lesson of the day something that I've learned from and something that maybe even happened in the last couple of days or was applicable to something that happened in the market. And that's the goal of it, so that we can all kind of have the same journey. But today's was about something that you didn't see happen live on the show that happened in the pre-market, which was, I don't know if it was an outlier event for myself and something that just happened twice in 20 years and was a huge loss, and I had to come back from it. So I think it's a good lesson, and everybody can learn from it because you want to be able to learn lessons in the cheap way as opposed to having to pay a big price. So check it out if you get a chance. But there was also a question about, can you just short BMY based on that imbalance that I'm showing? So the early look, BMY is a gigantic, it's a number one, if you look at the imbalances right now on BRKR, it's a 34 million share imbalance. So your question is, can you just short BMY based on that? It is not guaranteed that just because the early look is a massive imbalance to the sell size, that the stock will fall, or B, that at 350 it will come out a huge sell. At 350, this could come out half the size. It could come out a little bit bigger. It could come out almost all paired off. So it's a guide to just tell you what the current open interest is in the closing auction. It does not mean that it is set in stone that you can short a stock and it will go down. The way I would usually interpret it is if I happen to be short in BMY and it showed us big sell imbalance, I might just hold on for a little bit more. You know, I might just like, if I was looking to get some out for another push down, for another like 20, 30 cents or whatever it might be, maybe I push that to 30 or 40 if I was in the money. If I saw a short setup on it that I liked anyways, let's say I liked a VWAP short and I was trading this no matter what, then I might just take a few more shares on a trade that I already liked. I'd use it for confluence, not for the entire reason to take a trade. That's just me. Everyone can do their own. Speaking of which, I got back into Intel, got some out at the 78 level, got some out at 85, reloaded, and it just broke the high. Reshorted it at 90, and it just broke 93, so I'm now in no trades.
All right, we just had 350 in the money on Nvidia, and now it's halfway back. So, lesson learned again. Like, look at that, 887.65. Like, we have all this profit, and we're just not taking it. So, again, we talked about where we were waiting for that, and remember initially we went to 887.50. Well, guess what? That would have filled. So. That sucks. Okay, right back in now. So we'll wait to see if we get some more shares on the bottom of this trade again. Back into VWAP. Now we just have to wait. We're going to take this out if it comes back up to the upside here. So let's see if that does happen again for this name. And again, VWAP is down there at 882. So we're going to take some fills if it comes in anywhere near that, and we'll wait to see if it breaks lower or not. So that's that trade there. But hopefully we can get back up to the upside and we'll be all good, all rosy on that one. So we're going to put an offer right now at that level that bounced off of it. So 887.50. All right, so we'll put it there and we'll wait. So what we mean by putting off bids and offers in is like I have an offer right now waiting here. So it's in the lineup waiting. So if the market does rip up, maybe I should put like a big sign, hey, for sale, all the way up here. So that's what we're doing. We're advertising our shares. So that's what we mean when we say bids or offers. If we put bid down, like right now, I'm trying to buy something near VWAP. So if it comes back in, I'll have 10 shares bidding down here at 884. So as it comes into me, someone's going to buy them from me and then hopefully be able to sell them higher with an offer. Now, when we get out of trades and I'm just getting hit out, those are still the same trades, but that's automatic. I put all my stops in basically through the keyboard if I'm going to get stopped out as limit orders or stop losses, conditional orders, you guys might know them as. So like right now I have an order that says if we break this 882, like basically limit out or market out. And I'm using markets now on this, but if you wanted to, you could just limit out on something, an aggressive limit, which will give you that fill. So that's what I'm doing, trying to sit around here, wait for some better fills. But I do understand that we do have the imbalances today. See, like, damn it, this was 350 in the money and now it's flat. Like, frustrated on that one. But look what's happening to SMCI. You want to talk about this name having an imbalance on it to the buy side? It just got hit down 100. Oh no, not 100. What am I doing? That's 11.35 down to till $30. So down $30 right now from that high. And what does it look like on the day? All right. So I mean, look, if you think it's coming into a buy imbalance, that's going to get published in 19 minutes. So any kind of low levels like this, maybe you wait to see if they hold. But you're better off waiting for the number, I think.
If today was the day it was being added to the S&P. Yeah, I was coughing a bit. Sorry about that. I muted myself because I was just choking on water like an idiot. But if it was today that SMCI was being added to the index, you'd probably see, Sean's chart was up, I'm in IBIT, I'll get to it in a second. You'd probably see some traders, as it's going down, try to front run a potential imbalance on the buy side. I remember when Tesla got added to the S&P 500, it was a hairy trade to do that, but it actually ended up being a good one. That said, the real alpha was just taking the close. Right. But if it was being added today, it would be a different story. But SMCI is not being added to the index till next week. Today, it's just a potential buy imbalance that's expected. So IBIT, remember failing underneath 40? Well, it didn't really do the wick I expected at 40, but it just broke down under 40, bounced back up, tried to reclaim it, wicked to 40.03 and came back under. So I shorted 95, giving it to this high, scalping the range, and then see if it can fall down. That's a very specific setup. If it breaks this local high, I'm out. Not giving it to here. I'm literally giving it a couple cents above that level.
Just going down.
So we're in kind of scalp trade mode. Do not want to take anything that is sort of out of the pocket. Like if I can find a range trade or an easily explainable setup, or like an easy technical trade. That's all I'm going to try and do for the rest of the day until about 350. Ryan, I'd be surprised if Nvidia went red. What I've learned on imbalance days is like rationality and the way a stock was trending and how it's trading for most of the day can get thrown out the window in the last 30 minutes. because it's like the amount of volume that comes in, it can be the best trend in the world, and everything could have been happening one way for most of the day, and then it just says we're going down or we're going up, and it doesn't make any sense. So just be careful, especially when 330 hits. Apparently Adobe's been leveling out. Raul's saying it's time to buy as a trade, I guess.
Time to buy Adobe?
Where's
Nvidia
that?
just keeps going down, by the way.
It's almost at 500 again.
Oh, man.
It hit
Okay,
499.
Oh, man. We were going to give that one a sort of a chef's kiss. Shout out to Chef Joe there after a couple days because we were trying to wait for that one to go to the downside.
Stupid question.
We're still in Nvidia now, but we're long at 882.20. Obviously, if this can get back up to the upside, we should take something out here. But let's just wait to see what happens. We're basically flat on this. I don't know. I'm trying to catch these bottoms because we know the dramatic move that could happen. Neil already nailed it and said that, NVIDIA has been a hugely popular name and a popular trade here on the floor, and it's because of these moves.
There will be a $20 move, I think.
There will get a move here on this name. So, $20 today? Wow.
Well, I mean, like in the last 10 minutes, you don't think it can go 20 bucks?
Oh, maybe in the last 10 minutes. I don't know. I'll probably be the wrong way on that $20. Here we go. Get up to the upside right now and see if we can get a fill. We're at 78 and it's stopping at 76. That's crazy. Go. Look at that stopping at 76. Look at the 76 on the offer there. Did you see that? That was stupid. There it goes. Now we get the fill. Now let's start going back up to the upside. So a couple bottom picks there. We're long at 882. We just got out again at 883. We got a 76, then a 90. So we'll take 70 cents, then we'll take 80 cents, and here it goes back up to the upside, and there it comes right back down again. This is a heart attack. So we'll have to get out at. We're going to have to wait for it and be patient because it looks like it does want to break that bottom again. And if it does, that 881.50, we're out. Too many dip buys into this name, too much money thrown away, which is why we just took out half there. So this last one is a free ride, but definitely the long has been wrong on Nvidia. So be careful. One more flush down and we're dead. Like we're out of the trade. Not that we're dead, but that's why we're doing this. So there it goes. Right again. Now 75 cents in the money. So our risk on this is 60 cents. We're now 70 cents in the money. If you want to take it, take it. I'm waiting for higher for longer. Let's wait for 887 and see if that comes in, as if that's going to happen. But we'll wait to see here. With only a few minutes to go before these imbalances get printed, in 14 minutes, we'll see some dramatic moves.
I think we absolutely will.
We'll probably be out of it by then.
I'm anticipating I won't even be in this IBIT. IBIT just bounced again off 39.80, so I'm short at 95s, giving it basically 10 cents in slippage. When it gets in the money like down here, I've taken it twice and I only have half the position. I want some out at 60. If it runs the stop at the top, I just get out. The Y Brothers United mentioned in the chat, do we have the early look on the imbalances? The website, it was actually at the website and like a Twitter account that used to actually put that out there, has not been, the source just isn't giving it to us anymore. So I can show you individual names on the New York because we do see those. So any individual name that's on the New York, I can show you its current imbalance theoretically, but we don't have that total number. And then there was another question just now about SMCI. Like you have NVDL and the triple lever and all that good stuff for NVIDIA. To my knowledge, there isn't anything for SMCI of that ilk. I know Tesla has some and NVIDIA has some. I don't know if SMCI does. I don't think so. Just wanted to get that one out there. And Brendan just put, before we go to the desk, one last thing. With the changes taking effect, so for SMCI, it's going to S&P 500 taking effect for the start of trading March 18th. So I want to be clear about this. Wait a minute. With the changes, so where's Brendan? So it is Monday. Okay, so we are expecting the big one today so for then SMCI, it takes effect on Monday, which does mean today should be the big day. With that said, just because that's the anticipation does not mean SMCI is going to have a massive buy and balance and rip $1 million. Okay, it just might. It's just possible. It doesn't mean it will for sure. Let's go to the desk.
Brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk by many of our traders every day. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link in the description for 20% off.
Yeah, that's my bad. For some reason, in my head, I was like, it's all next week. You know what it is? No, I'm getting old. It's like the Reddit IPO is what's next week, and that's the thing that I'm missing when I go to Florida. So that's my bad. SMCI is today. It's Reddit's IPO that's next week, and that's the event that I am going to miss when I'm at spring training. So here comes IBIT to the downside. I'm going to take another leg out here in front of 70. So this one's going to work, but we're going to ring the register. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth at 340. Waited for this to set up, break down under 40, show a retest, show weakness at the level that I like, and then short it. Not just sort of like, yeah, I like the 40 short it all the way to the top. Now wait for it to set up a 40 short. And when it put in the lower high, there's the wick that indicated the entry, and we'll get some out. I'll let it ride to 39.5 and give it to break even, because I think that's going to make a little bit of sense here. That's just IBIT. I mean, Bitcoin's back underneath 70,000 for reference. It's at 69.6. Oh, the other thing about we actually have here at Real Trading, we have direct Bitcoin trading. Like I can pull up BTC if I wanted. However, we can only go long on BTC. So I can go long this, I can't go short this, which means it's just in both directions I would rather trade an ETF. Because that way I'm not jumping from one to the other. It trades like a stock. It looks like a stock. It just looks like I'm trading anything that is $39.70. And because we're equity traders, I'd rather just trade an ETF 10 times out of 10. Like if I was trading a futures move, I'd trade the Qs or the SPY, because that's what my brain is accustomed to doing. If I look at the ES, I might start thinking about it differently, just because the level 2 looks different and the ticks are different and all that. So it's all the same move. So you might as well trade, if you're accustomed to stocks, trading the ETFs I think is a better move than trading spot Bitcoin, although there's advantages obviously to spot Bitcoin. So one last trade until the imbalance is for me. I'm going to let IBIT ride to 39.5. We're short 95s here. My stop is just above break even.
All right, we just got us a little bit of water there. Wow, that was, yeah, I came back, I was like, oh my God, Nvidia's at 880, but the stop triggers, of course, as per usual, and we get the out. So, you know, we've just been trying the long. We were saved a couple times, but at the end of the day, Nvidia will be a red name because of all those attempts. But, you know, so now I sit here and I think kind of like the same thing. As we get ready for these imbalances, BMY just got, what? No, it's not moving at all, but it's 42 million to sell. Like, I don't even understand this trade, to be honest with you, right now. Like, I'm going to make sure that my keys are set up properly here, because if this stays, we may want to make a trade here at the end of the day. And what I'm talking about is we have a keyboard set up here at Real Trading, and that we have, like, these are all my NASDAQ keys: ARCA, NASDAQ, MEMX, EDGX, BYX, NYSE buy and sells. So I just got to make sure, like, this one here is limit on open, so we don't need that one. This one is, right, the wrong key there. So I got to probably set up some of these closing trade keys here, because I haven't put one of these on in a minute. So what's this one? This is mock. Okay, so there's a short mock. I probably have it. So it's probably Control F1 then. Control, oopsies, back through. So here, stop last price. So I have over here, flat in position. Okay, yeah, we're not going to use that one. NYSE short sell mock. So right there. So for BMY, it's a sell. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to want to get short, but then we want to go NYSE mock bid into the close. So we can set that key up, and we'll have to do that. I'm surprised I don't have that set up anywhere, to be honest with you. I think I've changed it with one of these. So we'll get that all set up right now into the close in case there is a trade there on Bristol Myers, because it is looking like a nice little sell into the close. So that's something to look at. But again, this is all going to get populated at 350, and we can make our decisions then. So it could all be paired off. You know, there could be like a trader or somebody that just wants to get BMY shares that just pairs that off. And then at the end of the day, it might not print anywhere. So
can I say a note about this?
Yep.
I just talked to, Wayne, one of the floor managers. In our research, BMY is supposed to be a small buy imbalance. And it's now saying 42 million to sell and growing, and we were expecting a small buy.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's going to flip, but I would be very cautious with that.
Yeah, it looks, I mean, it's such an outlier. Like, it's only done 12 million shares. It's
like, that's insane.
Not going to do 4 times the float on the close. So I don't know. I feel like there is something up with that. All right, so I'm not even going to look at those anymore, because, again, we'll get that number at 850. Neil's at about 6 billion. I'm north of that number. I think it's going to be a big number, and I don't know which way, but I just think it's going to be a monster based on what we see right now. We are expecting, of course, SMCI to be a buy because we do know that on the 18th, which is in a couple of days, this and Deckers are being added to the S&P 500.
Well, it's Monday, so this is the day.
Oh, it's Monday. Oh, Monday's the 18th.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
No, this is my fault because I was the one that was saying next week, but it's effective as of Monday.
I literally said the 18th. So I just didn't look at the math. Like today's the 15th, 16th,
Exactly.
17th, 18th. So, right. So this is the last day.
This is the last day.
So there we go. So we'll see. There could be some tomfoolery there, but that's why you just watch the imbalances and be able to figure that out for yourself. I feel like you could punch long Nvidia if it comes out a buy, but by that time you're going to miss it, but it's still maybe worth something into the close on an Nvidia buy. Do we just buy it against 878 and hope it comes out a bid? I mean, see, whenever you're using that, and I just was speaking with Josh back there, it's like, if there's ever going to be a day when you're going to want the stock market gods on your side, it's going to be today because you don't know where some of these things are going to print. All you can do is trust your eyes, and then hopefully it follows through on some of these moves at the end of the day.
I'm just going to look at SMCI because I feel like,
pick your poison, I think, at some point.
Yeah, pick your poison. I mean, I don't think I've ever called up Deckers, so I've never looked at the stock. You know, obviously good brands that they have, but SMCI being down 3%, and the move, like it's fallen now $40 at the bottoms. Like part of me, I know there's probably traders that would just get in now. That's, I want to get information. I just want to see what it comes out of 350. Like I'd rather, if I take a shot at it, I'd rather be doing that knowing it's an actual buy imbalance than just getting a worse price than buying it right now just because it happens to be at the bottom. Like I would imagine there's some traders that would already be in this thing. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm going to get out of I've trailed IBIT a little bit tighter now because it's now 345, so it's almost 350. My trail's now in here at 80s from break even. So this can't turn into a loser, but I do want to be getting out of this before 350. Let's go back to the desk with Adara.
MSOS, that's going to be the cannabis ETF. This one making new high of days on really strong volume earlier today. Again, this is not confirmed. This is a tweet from hedge fund manager Doug Cass tweeting out saying that he's heard that the DEA is going to be approving soon a rescheduling of cannabis to Schedule 3. Again, this has not yet happened. This is not confirmed, but this is some hedge fund speculation really heating up on social media, getting a lot of people interested in this name running up as we head into the close, guys. MSOS.
Now it moves.
MSOS is now moving. Yeah, I had that earlier. I'm just making sure that if I.
But did you see the charts?
No, I didn't. Did I have it today? Yeah, I did have MSOS today. So let me see. What?
Wasn't that yesterday?
It was both days. I have it. No, it was today. Look, I have it every time. I mean,
oh my.
So I heard something similar earlier, but this was only a 10-cent hit. It wasn't that much, and we didn't. We don't have, this is the move that you're waiting for. So like when this happens and it's the same candle, you're not getting the movements. So, oh man, now Nvidia's 884. I just put a bid at 880 just in case because we're getting closer right now, but nice move for MSOS as some of you may be partaking this week, but if you did have that ETF, then good on you, man, up 15.5%. Right now back up there to the upside, so wow. Good on everybody for that one as MSOS continues.
Oh, I have mine now?
It's March higher. Yep. You got yours right there. So there it is.
Thanks, baby. And
you got that one.
Oh, before I forget, just remember something here. In 2 minutes, these imbalances are going to come out, and if you've never seen them before, they're going to be pretty large. Just going to get that out of the way. Just a bit. This is the only place where you're going to be able to see that final 10 minutes of chaos on a witching day live. Whether SMCI does something or not, we're going to be able to observe it. You're going to be able to learn from it. You're going to see some crazy imbalances in a couple of minutes in terms of size and maybe some big moves. So in that vein, I want to remind everybody to
like, subscribe, and share the show that takes you to the heart of the market every day.
Because we are FREE. I'm also just getting out of IBIT, so the last trade will be nice off of the 40 level. I said I'd get that last bit to 39.50, so it does eventually fail the 40 level. I was looking for a fail back underneath that price. We let it set up. Just patience, patience, patience. Don't just necessarily take the break. Let it set up, comes back, gives the lower high, and then the short, not enough time for it to get the VWAP, and now we have 90 seconds until you know, we're going to say all this, and then SMC, it could be a bunch of other things, and SMCI will be nothing. Like, watch there be like 20 other stocks that have ridiculous size, and SMCI is like this teeny tiny.
It's always what it is. It's like, look at this shiny thing over here in this hand, and meanwhile, it's like, you know, you're doing something with the other one. Right now, we'll take a bid here at 880 just to give...
Like stealing your Vegemite.
Yes, exactly. Like stealing and eating all the Vegemite in the world, which Neil still has to do. Okay, so here we go. In just a couple minutes, we will see this come through, and it's going to be great. So we're going to take a small bid here at 880. You know what? No, we're not. What are we even doing? Let's just cancel that. We're not going to take any risks here until we see what happens. So here's the imbalances. They're not out yet. I'm going to get rid of the broker feed right now because we don't need to see that. So now they're all going to disappear. See all the numbers? So at 350, which is now in 45 seconds, you're going to see utter chaos happen in this market. So I'm just here to tell you that it's going to be nuts. The market's going to go insane. I'm just doing this so that we can clip it, so when it comes back and there's nothing happens, we can be like, this is how smart we are. But I am expecting, honestly, a big move here into the close. So keep your eyes on AMD, Apple, whatever you want.
Nvidia, Microsoft's expected to be big.
I can't predict one way or the other. We could be long now at 880 if I didn't cancel that order. So we'll roll with fake money now, or imagination, because we're never in sim mode. We'll roll here and wait to see if that were to work out. But I've canceled all my orders right now, and we're just going to wait, because here we go. In 3, 2, 1, we should see some kind of something happen here in the market. There's the downside push in Nvidia. Doesn't go that low there. It's hovering in and around 879, 878, starting to go to the downside. So BMY does stay real. We don't see NASDAQ.
NASDAQ's not here yet.
Yes, it is. Cisco's here. 7 million to sell.
Oh, yeah.
So SMCI is not one of the top names. Cisco is a sell name right now. Cisco's starting to go to the downside. BMY starting to go to the downside. I believe I saw that tick. Yeah, a little tick down. So BMY goes down 40 cents. Look at the market. See, this is why we said that. It's not really doing anything.
SMCI is a 450,000 sell imbalance.
Right.
And 5 million paired off. I had to scroll down to find it. It's 5 million paired, which is big. So the total volume on the day in SMCI is 5 million. The paired volume on the auction is 5 million.
Oh, you win.
So what did I say?
You said 6. It's only 4.2 to sell, by the way.
Oh, then nobody.
I said greater than. No, you won.
I missed it by 2 billion.
Yeah, we were both way off.
That's way off.
Okay, and you know what?
That's kind of small.
Isn't that kind of the case? It's like you go to a party that you expect to be amazing. It's not that great, and the one party that you were ho-humming about is the best one. Nvidia comes as a small little sell. So it looks like it did come with a bigger one, but maybe it's paired off or not. There's Nvidia. Let's see what it's doing. 877 right back into the basement there for NVDA. So congratulations, man, for me for not taking that long, and congratulations to anybody that's short as well.
Remember what I was saying about, like, there's some traders that would have just anticipated a long in SMCI and then gone because you got a support level here. Me, I'd rather just see it come out what I'm expecting and be willing to buy it up there. And if it doesn't, then I don't have to trade it. So now it's through the low of the day. And look, maybe it's a reasonable risk to have 1,100 and risk 20 bucks on it. And if it comes out your favor, maybe it rips 50. I'd just rather be certain about things. So, you know, maybe it's nothing bigger. The best thing about trading is if you have a setup and it doesn't, if you have an idea and it doesn't set up, you don't have to do anything. It's when you force trades that you get in trouble. Because everyone obviously anticipated a buy and balance on SMCI. We showed you live that it was nothing. It's actually a very small sell, 450,000 sell. And it goes to the downside because there were probably longs anticipating that move that had to sell when it didn't come out that way. Still always a chance that it could move or flip. I'll keep my eyes on it. It's still 400,000 to the sell side on SMCI.
Well, let's see if we get along. I tried to buy some 877s down here against that little bottom wick because, like I said, I think there's going to be a run in Nvidia into the close. I don't know. We just went green. Someone said Nvidia's going to go, red. Someone said Nvidia was going to go red on the day, and you guys nailed that one. I'm going to put a stop here if we break down through 876, but for right now, that's my bad. Again, like we should have got more aggressive on that bid. Oh, I could have just punched in at 877, and instead I started bidding it. My bid's at 877.08. Like, that's what was on the bid. Should have just marketed it up. But remember what the spread is? It's too big, the spread sometimes.
ARM just had
did ARM have a big imbalance?
I'm looking for an imbalance right now on ARM, but that was like a pretty big drop. The problem is I have to sort through it alphabetically because it won't be a big imbalance. I have to scroll through. There's so many symbols in the U.S. markets.
Well, pull it down. Here, I'll do it.
Sorry, guys. I have to look up. You have yours. Like, if I find it first, I'll let you guys know. But I don't.
I'm
see,
just gonna go by alphabetical.
Arm. I must have passed it because I'm a fool.
AR.
260,000 to sell.
Yeah, I have.
That's not huge, but it tanked $3 anyways.
Yeah, so AR, hey, it was just here. Something just disappeared. Oh no, here it is right here. Yeah, so here's ARM right now. So not a big one, but you could see, boom. So nice little move to the downside again, as there's a little bit of a liquidity
I mean, it could be SoftBank.
on ARM. Ooh,
Why not put it into the auction?
did get
SMCI is still, I mean, it's still falling.
All right, we in to rock for a little bit here with Nvidia. Yeah, that's the SMCI fall down is going to hurt Nvidia. If SMCI goes the other way, man, Nvidia probably will follow it. So we're going to wait. There's only a couple minutes until a potential reversal here of these numbers. We're going to
remind everybody.
Yeah, it's 8:55. We're going to 876 right now is going to be the out. So there he goes. Now we're $1 in the money again on Nvidia. But you know what? Forget about it. Hopefully this just runs up to the upside. Scalping out's been right, but let's just see if we can get a run up here. I'm looking at 888 again, where the 50 period, or sorry, where the 200 period is. I don't think it's out of the question that we run $10, but if at the end of the day it's starting to slow down, we don't have too much time left, you know, maybe an 884 is a pretty good level there. That would put us right back to where we need to be. So we're long at 877, and here we go. Nice move up. See, here's $3 in the money, maybe on Nvidia. Let's see what happens. Maybe an 884 take would be good for us.
Remember, 355 is when you get pairing events, so you might see a big spike one way or the other. Apple was 3.5 million to the buy side.
No spike there.
And it made a little bit of a move at 355, but now it's moved. Apple's now 2.5, so half of Apple's Imbalance just paired off. SMCI, the problem with this now, I was looking at Apple, so I'd have to scroll again to find SMCI. But suffice to say, I'm going to guess it didn't flip to a bid because it's making fresh lows. So this has turned into a bit of a disappointment and nothing burger on SMCI because it just continues to tank into the downside. Like if it was a buy bounce, I might have taken a shot at it, but I'm not seeing anything. You don't have to do it. You don't have to make a trade. Sure, you can look for something to happen, but when the opposite happens, you shouldn't fight it. Just a reminder to everybody, there is no market recap today because the podcast is being filmed tonight. So get your questions in for the podcast. Make sure, whether it's Saturday morning, maybe Saturday afternoon, or if you're into it like myself, I'm more of a Sunday person when I do my preparation for the markets, you know, you can listen to it on either Spotify, I don't know why I said Snapchat, remember. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, anywhere you can get it. But I wanted to
go on Snapchat.
No, I wanted to let people know, like on Spotify, I listened to it on Spotify myself. Last week there was an issue with it being posted to Spotify. So if you're looking for it and you don't get the notification on Spotify, then just hop over to YouTube or to Apple.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Or look out for any of our accounts and we'll tweet the link to it on Spotify. Because that did happen last week. And I still listened to it, but I had to go off of the link and wasn't able. It just didn't notify and it didn't show up on my page. So if that happens again, don't worry, you can get it in other places, everybody. As SMCI is still falling here. Wow, what a disappointment.
We took advantage of, so now we're $2 in the money finally for Nvidia, as that's starting to go back up to the upside here. Now, whether or not this goes, let's wait. We're waiting at 879.50, kind of where that top was in the past. So here we go. We're starting to make a little bit of bank now on this, but again, doesn't mean that it's going to go up. We're going to try to wait for this level right here, 879.80. So hopefully we get one more little bump up, but we're running out of time. There's only 3 minutes left. This is just kind of seeing if we can make back some of this disaster that we had earlier. Not disaster, but we've been trying to catch the long. And I just feel, honestly, this is kind of like a little bit of FOMO. I was hoping that Nvidia would run, and I wanted to have something on if it did run. So I had a bias to the long side here into the afternoon, which was fine to have. I mean, if I'm going to be biased long any name, I'm fine doing that on Nvidia. We've made a lot of money on Nvidia this month, but it doesn't mean that you have to give it back with bad decisions. So, you know, we're fine with it. There's the bids. You know, that's a good bid. Like, that's an 877. That's an 878.50. So we can take it right now for another $1.50. Like, we're long right now at 877. We're waiting for 879. Let me put an offer there at 879, okay? Because whatever, man. Maybe we'll get one spike up and we'll get that. Then if we really rally, then let's go. Only 2 minutes left. The market's going to get a lot of volume in here into the close. So our stop orders in, so are our limit orders to take out profit if it goes. Maybe we get a last second run up here on Nvidia. We're kind of playing with house money on this last bid here. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, just really quickly, this Morgan Stanley Direct Lending Fund, MSDL, making new all-time highs and really strong volume. Buy balance for this one, 926,000 shares. So interesting push up here on no news for MSDL, guys.
Direct lending? What was that?
I don't know.
Okay. Morgan Stanley ETF has a huge imbalance on it?
That's
Direct lending? I don't even know.
I mean, yeah. I
don't know anything about that.
I don't know if I would touch things like
What's up with
that.
that? What's up with
We've seen
BFY?
massive imbalances on like REITs and stuff before, and those types of like outliers tend to not be trades. But SMCI is still making lows. They are dumping this thing right now. So on the addition to the S&P 500, sometimes when you subvert expectations, this is what happens. If you got into this early, the best you could do is have a stop. You know, like if you're going to make that anticipation trade, either stop it out at a support level or have a stop that you put in at 350 and just say if it breaks this level when the imbalance comes out the other direction, I'm not going to hold it if it comes against me. Because if you didn't do that, you just said it's going to be a long no matter what, then you've just lost $30. So, SMCI and any imbalance, it does not, just because it's a buy imbalance does not mean it, or an addition does not mean it's going to go up. I know Tesla was fantastic, but SMCI turning into being something different. We got under 20 seconds to go, so you know what you're going to have to do,
Boom.
Which is get the camera off me. Put on Adara. Let's get this countdown on. And there she is. Oh, look at that. I love the board up there so you can see the UNG is randomly down.
I told you, it's not random. It's always like that.
I know.
It's always one way or the other.
2 and 1, ring it. I
All right.
kid, because they call it the Widowmaker for a reason.
Yes.
UNG is always the most volatile. And remember the other day it was up? It's like, hey, it could be a good long. Well, it's red again because
Yep.
good luck going long in natural gas.
All right, so there's some spiciness happening. We just took it out on on Nvidia right there at 878. So good trades at the end of the day. We have no more shares left on board right now, so we are flat and waiting to see what does happen right now. So we're in this. We're pretty happy with everything. Let's see where it goes right now. So that is Nvidia for our last outs. You guys want to see what SMCI did? Okay.
The closing print, I think, was 68. I think I saw 68.
So down. So there you go.
No, well, from the bottom, it might have actually done a little spike, maybe.
But still.
But it's look. If you took that long, which I can't. Here's the thing. I can't actually see a reason you would have taken that long. But if you took it, I don't think you would have won. Right. But that said, there was no reason to take that. It didn't come out a gigantic buy. When Tesla made that crazy move on its inclusion, it came out I don't remember how big it was, but it was the biggest buy and balance I'd seen on an individual name. That's all I remember. Notional value. It was obvious you're going long this thing, but SMCI wasn't, and that's the value and the power of having the information out there. Because if you didn't watch us and you only knew that it's supposed to be a buy, and you didn't have access to the imbalance locator and seeing the price action live, you could make a bit of a blunder anticipating a move. So never want to do that. Just a last reminder for everybody. Have a great weekend, but we're going to flip. We're going to end the show now. There is no aftermarket recap because the podcast is being filmed, and then you can get that dropped at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
What's up, Chef Joe? Roll out that podcast. Don't forget everyone. I don't know what that means, Chef Joe, but we are going to be rolling it out. It's going to be out tomorrow at 10 o'clock, so join us then for that. I want to thank everybody for watching all week. It's been a great week, so lots of lessons being learned. We'll thank Neil for his today, and say thank you to Sharif. Thanks, Sharif. We want to say also a big thanks to Adara as well.
And
there's Sharif.
There
Sharif.
she is.
How's it going, Sharif?
What's the turtle's name?
What?
Trenda Ticker.
Who came up with that? Exactly. Was it Sharif? Oh, it was Ramin. Okay.
Trenda Ticker.
Then I like it.
Of course we do.
Was it you, Fabian? Fabian shaking his head. Trenda. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I don't know either.
We'll figure it out. It's not my turtle. No,
it's not our turtle.
No,
the Bears don't.
Whatever she
the
wants.
Bears and Bulls don't
We're
have
not even
names.
creative enough to figure out names for these guys over here.
How about you guys name them for us, actually?
All right. Well, Brendan's over there getting ready for the podcast, so I literally just got to get up and go over there and produce more content for everybody. So we'll see everybody on the podcast. Thank you. Have a good week. All right. Congratulations on everything. Good trading today, and we'll see everybody on Monday. Ciao, everybody.
Have a good one.